Yeah, and I think we are live. At least my computer says we're live, so that's probably right. So welcome to this first European time zone friendly Friday Hangout stream. I'm really happy to have established a good group of people to join us for the stream, and we have more people coming in. Now we are 4 to start with, but at least two or three people will join in at a later time. So that will be good, I think. And it's really nice to have put together this European group or European time zone friendly group, because a lot of us have wanted to take part in the Hangout stream, but doing it in the middle of the night is quite difficult, even though I have done it several times. But Saturdays for me after the stream is terrible. So I started to gather some people in the chat and finding out if there was interest of doing European time zone stream, and there was a good amount of people willing to jump in, and that's amazing. So it's like seeing the futures. Yeah, we are in the future. We can tell you a lot of lottery numbers, but for the first round, I want to give everybody a chance to do their introductions, where you can tell us where people can find you and what you do on your YouTube channel, if you have a YouTube channel, or what you do in the community. So we'll start with Ian, and you can do your introductions.
Okay. So I'm Ian, and I go by the handle, which has been on some debate today, whether it's how it's pronounced. It's irblinx or irblinx is what I know it as. But on Twitter and also on the various places where you can get models. So I do some modeling myself. I like to print other people's models, and I do an awful lot of printing either way. So my YouTube channel, again, is irblinx, all very consistent across everything around apart from Thingiverse. And on there, I guess I do vlogs as updates, talking about what I'm doing, and then also the occasional video on particular subjects. And that's about it. I think WordPress, I also have a site that's got it's mainly got my Galactic British Empire playset, which is a rocket playset that I put together for 3D printing. So I'm available on there as well, I guess.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome to know. And Miles, you're up next. Do your intro.
Okay, talking words. Hello. Yeah, so I'm Miles, and I admin the big 3D printing Facebook group, along with a big other team who some of us will hopefully be joining later as well, the rest of the team who can actually speak properly and do things. But yeah, that's pretty much the only big things I do in the community, I guess. Oh, small big things, whatever you mean. Yeah, so you'll find me on just search the 3D printing Facebook group. I'm probably in there upsetting people.
Yeah, thank you. And Paul, you're up.
Hi, I'm Paul. Down on YouTube and Twitter, 3D printing stuff. Trying to make videos about all kind of things regarding 3D printing, and yeah, trying to educate people on how to use 3D printing for all kind of things.
Yeah, thank you. Ben jumped in. Ben, we are doing just the introductions, the initial introductions, so you can tell people where people can find you on your social media links. It seems Ben dropped out. He was maybe having some technical difficulties, so he'll probably be back on in a minute. But yeah, the first initial topic for this stream was what you're doing with 3D printing. Now we have Ben joining again. Ben, do you hear us?
I had YouTube running at the same time. My bad.
Yeah, okay. But your video is black, so.
Okay. Hang on.
Yeah, you can switch the cameras. Yeah, I see a lot of people are joining in the chat. Chris Riley and Jeff from 3D Channel, Fun King, Hi Glenn and Puts, and Joel Mike, Pattern to Print, Sean, Matt. So a lot of 3D Gustner, a lot of people joining in on the chat. Yeah.
Can you see me yet?
No, just a blank screen.
All right. Okay. This problem again. Hang on.
Yeah. I think the
OBS is tripping out. Hang on.
Yeah.
Bear with me.
Now we see the video.
I thought we had to pay extra to not see Ben.
Yeah. Oh, the video was working in a short while. Yeah. So.
Okay, hang on. I'm working on it. Bear with me.
Yeah.
It was bad before. Whatever you did made it worse just now.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was working fine.
Oh,
you moved me to you moved him to the monitor.
Can you see me yet? No.
Yeah, there you are.
You see me?
Yeah, really small.
Really small. Small Ben. All right. Okay. Hang on.
Yeah.
I'm average height, but you know, hang on.
Yeah.
Can you see me now?
Now you're good.
Okay.
Much better.
Try that again.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. My bad.
Yeah. Now your screen is good, so you can do your initial introductions.
Okay, guys, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Ben, formerly the CEO and founder of Hawk 3D Proto, that was a business for 6 years. Earlier this year, I found out that my parents were going to sell our family business, which was called Cutwell. When I found this out, I decided that I'd leave the business earlier in order to get out of it before it actually happened. And in that time, I made the transition to be a content producer. And so then, you know, I could pursue my, suppose it's not lifelong dream, but year-long dream of pursuing YouTube and content creation full time. I love 3D printing. I love this community. It's absolutely awesome. You guys give a lot to me day in, day out. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah. And your video went black again.
After all that, with the emotion in my face and everything.
Yeah, such a good introduction.
Oh, sorry. I can do it again. Hang on.
Yeah,
I'll go to. Hang on.
Are you saying you were faking the emotion, then?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Hangouts can't use selected camera without a work.
Ding.
It's saying it can't use my camera for now. That's great.
Yeah. Just if you have to shut down OBS if you.
Right. Okay. Is that why? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Shut down OBS.
Yeah. But now we had Kat joining in. Kat, do you hear us?
A bunch of people ask you to see my video. Here we go. Hello.
Hey, Miles.
Fine. I guess you can't see. I guess you can't see too bad how messed up my hair is right now. That's fine. My video camera isn't good enough.
Yeah. Now can hear.
Okay. Excuse me.
Are you over speakers?
Yes. My setup had lots of problems. I'm a total hectic.
Yeah, okay.
Excuse me.
Because we have a lot of echo.
I don't know how to activate the headphones. It worked. I tried before with the other program there. It worked, but here it doesn't seem to work now.
Yeah, okay. So. Just let us know when I will mute you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for those technical difficulties people are having because everybody is doing this for the first time and it's quite a setup.
The John Boyega meme. It didn't take too long. No, before he was famous, everyone just called me ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, but while Kat is setting up the headphones, maybe wanted to start asking you a few questions on how did you start with 3D printing and how it became something you did on YouTube or social media. How did it all start for you? So we'll start with Paul. You can just go over your journey into 3D printing.
Okay. Well, I started, I think, in 2009 or something. I saw a wrapper of Darwin somewhere at a conference, and yeah, that was just one thing I wanted to make. And after that, I started making at university a sales manual and started getting more and more into 3D printing. And yeah, I started to use it more and more for things like simple prints for in-house, and yeah, using it at university to create stuff together with software and making robots and things like that. And yeah, after a while, I think 2 years ago, I bought my first own 3D printer, and I still have it. And since then, it just started to become more and more of a hobby and printing all kind of things.
Yeah, do you have a FDM printers or SLA or?
I have mostly FDM printers. I do want to have a SLA printer, but currently not yet. I started with a original Prusa MK0, so that was the 3mm variant. I still don't have that one anymore. It's used for the Hypercube actually behind me. And currently I have a Prusa MK2, a Ultimaker 3, and a CR10.
Okay, yeah. So you've been printing for quite some time. I'm only 1 year in since I got my printer.
Yeah, it has been like 8 years or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and Miles, how was your journey into 3D printing and being the moderator of the big Facebook group? How came that all about?
Well, definitely didn't start in 2009, because in 2009 I think I'm like 14 years old. So I think I got into 3D printing in like 2013, end of 2012. I convinced my roommate that we should buy this used used MakerBot Replicator 2 from this really rich kid who had more money than sense. So he sold us like a used Rep 2 for like £800, and we like just split it and owned it together while we lived together at university. And I just wanted to print like stuff from games, but I didn't actually know that all the models in games are really low poly to save on power and texture and stuff. So then I just started to do it more and more and more, and I was really bad at it. So I ended up going on Facebook and crying to a bunch of people, and started getting more involved in the community stuff, getting into arguments with people like I always do. And after a couple big arguments on the Facebook group, they're like, okay, he's good at having arguments with people, and they made me the moderator for some reason. And that was like 3-4 years ago. I've just been doing that, I guess.
Yeah, it's always busy being a moderator for a group. It's quite a task.
Everyone's mad at me because I won't let them post 3D printing gun files right now, despite that being a rule for like 7 years in that Facebook group.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Now it's a problem because I reminded everyone that it wasn't allowed.
Yeah. Yeah, that has been discussed on several groups, and I think Facebook is starting to close them down if they are talking about it.
Don't close down the only thing I have going for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. But Kat is got her headphone working. So Kat, if you would like to do your introductions, tell people where they can find you on your channel and on Twitter and such.
Okay, hello. My name is Katja, and I'm 3D printing since last year in February. On Twitter and YouTube, I'm Kat3D, and I live in Liechtenstein, which is a small little country in Europe, not too far away from Austria and Switzerland and Germany. And I print with FDM printers and also with one DLP printer, person printer.
Yeah, thank you, Kat. We'll continue on with like questions. So, Ion, you're up next to tell us about your journey into 3D printing.
Yeah. So I my background is actually engineering. So I did an engineering apprenticeship at an aerospace company in the UK, and came out of that as a universal miller. So time served universal miller. So the idea of making something from scratch is kind of ingrained into me. For a long time after I got out of that career, I got into IT, and there was a void there, if you like. So I used to walk around shops and think, God, look at the price of that. I could make one of them. Oh no, I can't, because I've not got any way of doing it. So just serendipity, an opportunity came for me to actually buy a 3D printer for my department at work. So we did that. We bought a Cell Robox. Unfortunately, that was an interesting introduction to the 3D printing world. It's very much different to, I guess, the RepRap world that most of us know best. But it did teach me some things. I learned a little bit more about CAD modeling that I'd not done for a long while. So got into that. As I say, we kind of spent about 12 months playing about with that printer, and I finally decided to get one of my own at home. Primarily given the push by the videos, the video from Preston, Press Reset, on the CR10. So that was what I jumped for. I jumped for the CR10, and kind of didn't look back. Joined a couple of groups on Facebook, and luckily for me, I fell in with a bad crowd. So I fell in with Tom, Filament Frenzy. Tom was setting up a new group at the time on Facebook called Show and Tell, and the idea was to get away from some of the I guess the poison that you get in some of these groups, and some of the anti-noob sentiments that you get in some of the Facebook groups. So it was kind of, the idea was to be a breath of fresh air and set that up. So he asked me to be an admin of the group that he set up, and I guess our friendship struck from there. I returned the favour by persuading him to get onto Twitter, and the rest, as they say, is history. Tom's taken over Twitter since then, and prints all sorts of them. So I'm still just kind of purely FDM. It's the technology that I like. It kind of appeals to me, that technology, and I operate. I've got a Creality Corner, I guess. I've got a CR10 and an Ender 3 recently, and a couple of Prusa's on the go. And at work, we've recently pulled the Cell Robox out of retirement, but just for little jobs. But mainly, we've got a Prusa that I've just upgraded to. It's a Mark II that I've just upgraded to 2.5. And we've also got a Sigmax that actually Ben sold us when he still had the business. So that's kind of sat there. And just to rep Ben up as well. This was a sticker that I got through the post from Ben today, and it's got a twin brother. Oh, there it is. So this is kind of Ben's new sticker and his new logo, which I think you'll agree is pretty clean. It's a really nice sticker. I just need to find somewhere to put that. Suggestions on a postcard.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool stickers. Yeah, thank you for that. And so it's always good that people have found like a need for 3D printing and made a purchase to fix a problem or such to help out. That's always good to have a practical side. Yeah. So Ben, you're up for telling your story. Where did you start and came from?
Yeah, so for me, it started, basically my dad handed me a flyer because of the family engineering cutting tools business. It was like a perfect fit. I wasn't really getting into the engineering side as much as I wanted to. You know, like sometimes you want to kind of follow the family and stuff, and I wasn't really feeling it. And then he handed me this thing and they said, this 3D printing thing is going to be pretty big. And I was like, oh, okay, we'll go have a look. And we went to a company in the UK called Denford, and they were the first people to supply it. I think they're the only distributor of them in the UK of up+2, like tier time as well. And I went down with my dad and had a look, and then we started selling up at printers. Then we moved on to selling like Be Very Creative, and then Airwolf, and then we became the master distributor for them. So for me, my journey started with like just a flyer, and it was just like an idea, and then it developed into like a multinational business that became, I would class it as fairly successful. And then it blossomed into something that was really good. I actually went to BCN 3D last year, and I did my first ever like video vlog. I was really nervous. If you watch back on my channel 72 vlogs ago, you'll see that I started that way. And I was really nervous on camera. I wouldn't do anything like this. I wouldn't have even dreamed of streaming. I wouldn't even know what it was. I used to watch Joel Telling, of course, and many others. But apart from that, it was just that journey. And I did 5 days of SolidWorks Essentials 4 years ago now. And that was the biggest insight that I saw to 3D printing, because like, you know, getting that insight into how 3D CAD works, how stuff like that was really insightful for me, because I wanted to, I said to myself, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to learn 3D CAD to a level where I can say, this is the basic that you need to know. And at the time, it was the only like CAD software that I knew about because of engineering, SolidWorks, the kind of go to engineering places or pro engineer and stuff like that. So I just wanted to move into that space, so to speak. And then I started 3D printing, and then I brought my colleague in, who's also a very close friend of mine, Paul, who you've probably seen in some of my vlogs. And now I just do YouTube full time, and I absolutely love it. The community is great, the support, everything. You know, subscribers are great. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. And yeah, just I absolutely love it. So I guess that's it.
Yeah, thank you. It's awesome. It's a great thing to met you when you had the business. For me to get better shipment from the UK was good for me because it's expensive shipping from the US very often. So we started to chat while you still had your business, and it's been a good ride. Yeah, but Kat, you're up. If you would like to tell us your story, how you started with 3D printing with your YouTube, and how you ended up here.
Okay, so there was this Kickstarter campaign for the M. Julier from MakeX, and I already knew it would take a while until it would be delivered. And then parallel to getting interested in this kind of technique, I started watching YouTube videos, and then I thought, okay, why not look into FDM printing in the meantime? And then I met 3D printed Aspi, and we chatted on Twitter, and then we thought, okay, why not buy the same Delta printer kit, and why not build it together? So we did a live stream about that, and yeah, so then I really got addicted to 3D printing, and I learned a lot because assembling a printer by yourself, yeah, is the best thing that you can do. So from there on, I bought I also backed the Block Zero. I also assembled that by myself, and yeah, and there we go. And once the jewelry was delivered, I started a bit printing with a resin printer, and I recently moved. So the only things that I did in my own flat were making some test prints, but now I'm about to set up a small foundry in my basement downstairs, where I'm also gonna cast some of these objects in silver. And I'm also going to create some tests about how good resins will burn out. Not only these kind of resins here, but also maybe natural PLA and stuff. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, and you have your purse that you 3D printed parts for.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I've been working on it today because the sandal that will go up here, to carry it. I knitted it, but it didn't look nice. Made it way too wide, so I redid it, and now it's also containing some 3D printed parts. And this is something that I'm gonna record tomorrow. I made lots of videos while I was printing or knitting, so there will be lots of time lapses in there. And this is a project where I want to encourage you as men maybe to make a project together with your children. So you print maybe a part, and then your daughter or your wife, they can also join in by handcrafting something, like a project.
Yeah, it's a cool project. I saw you starting on it while we were at Earth. You had printed parts and you were cleaning them out. And
Yeah.
Look promising, but a lot of work. Yeah, it's cool.
It's way more work than I thought it would be, and it's way heavier than I thought it would be. I wanted to make the whole thing, with printed parts, but this panel in the front is already that heavy that I thought, okay, maybe I only knit this part here in the back, but it still has kind of weight to it, so.
Yeah, it looks like it's got some weight to it. Yeah. So thank you. So I will go over myself a little bit. I started 3D printing just over a year ago, and I've had interest in 3D printing for quite some time, and always felt that it was too expensive. But then last summer, my son went to a local fab lab here in Reykjavik, and he came home with a small item, like a cat model that he had made in Tinkercad and 3D printed at the fab lab, and that really fired my interest. And he took me to the fab lab, and we saw the printers they had there, and started to make some fidget spinners. It was the time that the fidget spinners were about to explode in popularity, and we made some designs. And soon enough, my son told me we have to have a 3D printer at home. We can't go to the fab lab because the fab lab was always closing. It was just open for a few hours each week, because it was a part of a school, so it was mainly for the students in the school. So I was going online and searching for printers and what to do with 3D printing. And at that time, I had no idea what a slicer was or anything in regard to 3D printing. The print my son came home with was the first 3D print I had ever seen in my life. So I was a complete noob just 1 year ago. And soon enough, we stumbled on the Prusa printer. I made an order for the Prusa MK2S printer. While I was waiting for that one, I started to look at YouTube channels, and very quickly found Joe Telling 3D Printing Nerd channel, and Angus Makers Muse and Tom from Germany, and several others. And my son was saying that I should do a YouTube channel, and I was not very keen on doing that. I've never been doing a YouTube, but he's like 12 years old at the time, and he was having a YouTube channel with his Minecraft games, and he said, no, it's not a problem, just buy a webcam and do it. And then at the same time, almost, I was having a look at Joe Telling's video on some project he did, and he was talking about people should just start a YouTube channel also. So I was like, yeah, everybody is telling me to start a YouTube channel. So I started my channel and started just with a basic. I had one webcam and small table in my living room, and I'm still here in my living room, but I've got several cameras now and lights and quite a setup, and I have 3 printers now: the MK3 printer from Prusa, MK2 that I converted from MK2 to MK2.5, and then a CR10 that I've modified quite a lot. And I've done like a video series on all my printers and upgrades for the CR10. And what I do also on my channel is to print out 3D printed landscapes. And here's one model I've done. And what I do is print them out and then I paint them. It's been like I printed maybe 20, 25 of those landscapes of different areas in Iceland, and several YouTubers have got this landscape or landscapes of several areas sent to them. So I've been giving them out, and when I went to Earth, I brought along, I think, 12 landscapes and gave them out to both public attendees and also several YouTubers I met. So that's maybe my signature pieces on my channel. Those are the landscapes I do. This is the most recent one. I painted this on a live stream, so that's quite good fun. I've never like learned how to paint in a school or anything like that. I just started to do it, and the models I have are very accurate for Iceland, because my secondary job is to create maps of Iceland. So I have really cool detailed data, and it's very accurate. So I have all the data to do this, and so that's been good fun. And my channel has evolved for just as I learn about 3D printing, and I do projects and filament reviews and done some modeling. This is one monster I created in Sculptris just for fun, playing around. And here are some animals also I've done. It's like models I've modeled. And I have a maker coin, my logo, my channel's logo, and a scan of my head. So it's like a real coin. So it's a good print, and I printed it standing up. So that's my maker coin. Here's my mascot for my channel, Mr. Belly. He's somewhat in the same shape as I am. I have a big belly, but that's good fun. So that's what I've been doing on my channel, modeling and printing out stuff and reviewing. So I've had a lot of fun, and maybe the YouTube channel is like a documentary of my process into 3D printing and the projects I do. So that's me in a nutshell. So I was thinking maybe we can open up the chat for maybe not so like question and answer, just to discussions. If you have some questions, and also if you see the audience ask questions in the chat, just ask your questions away, and we will try to answer them. And
I'd like to ask a question, if I could kick off. And a couple of the things that we've seen so far, but I'd love to hear more about Kat's handbag. That looks great, and also the painting skills you've got there, Marteinn, ridiculous considering you're not trained.
Yeah, it's just I'm always still learning how to work with the colors and finding out how to get the colors. And I paint the models just in one go. Like I don't blend the colors beforehand. I just blend them on the canvas. So it's quite a process to learn, but I'm getting better and better at it, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just reading up on chat.
Okay, excuse me. So there was a question about the handbag. So what do you like to know?
Well, I mean, the 3D printed parts you've got on there, is that the Dave Shorey method, or is that something else? Have you kind of just done there and
that's very simple. I did I did it in Tinkercad. It's just to keep it easy. These are basic forms, and I have there are only 3 parts in there. These are the ones in the center here, and then I got one at the top, which is just a half of it. Yeah. And then I have those cut off ones at the sides where only one hole goes through. And the knitted part is just done with this hand knitting mill. Yeah. And then you just take those and fiddle them through the holes. Yeah. And that's how it works, you know. Maybe hold it closer so you can see it.
Oh, now it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I would have chosen one with 6 sides, you wouldn't have seen the knitted part, but with 8 sides, you always see those ribbons that go through the middle one underneath, you know.
It works so well.
They
Really
display.
That is cool.
Yeah, so it's very easy. And I have made other ones with some little flowers on there or other stuff. Yeah, but for the first one, I thought I keep it simple. Of course, creating this thickness makes it a little bit more massive. The single one doesn't weigh a lot, you know, but what I think is really heavy is the yarn, the amount of yarn that you have to put in there to create the whole thing.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and like it's like professionally made. Look, it's cool.
Such a cool idea as well. I love anything that combines 3D printing with something else, because 3D printing, you can create all sorts of amazing stuff, but you know, when you combine that with other skills like painting for you, Marteinn, and that handbag is just superb. I really love when you see that sort of thing happening.
Thank you so much.
I was gonna say, Kat's like you're like the most prominent 3D printing person in all of Liechtenstein. I didn't even know you were from Liechtenstein until today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Like all the time I've been on Twitter and talking to you on Twitter and stuff, and I have not checked that you were from Liechtenstein.
Okay.
You're the first person I actually have ever known from Liechtenstein ever.
You know, originally I'm from Germany, though.
Okay. That's kind of cheating a little bit, but I'll let you off.
Okay.
Shane from Prusa Research is in the chat. When are you guys gonna make a 300 by 300 MK4? Do it.
That would be so cool.
Take the money.
Yeah, do it now.
Free money.
You see,
just do the thing.
Yes, make it bigger.
Just do it, but bigger.
Yeah, and I would definitely buy one.
Yeah, Katja, I see you have a landscape there, and you're printing those as well.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing is I didn't even know you, Marteinn, and a friend of mine, he's a hitchhiker, and he used to go to Mount Everest and Amadablam. This is this area, and I printed this, I think, 9 months ago or something like that. And then after I did that, I stumbled upon you after you started your YouTube channel, you know, and then I learned that there's somebody else doing this, you know, so I was so excited, and also so excited to meet you finally at Earth, you know.
Yeah, that was awesome to meet you also. Yeah, but Paul, what do you print on? What are your main projects with your printers?
Well, I print basically everything. The biggest thing I'm most proud of is actually this RC Benchy over here. And that was a really big print. I think it took around 200 hours to print in total in several times. And I'm trying to print things like this a bit bigger and much more project-wise. It requires a lot of time, and unfortunately I don't have that. But hopefully soon I will be making another thing like the RC Benchy, but a bit more different. Also a boat, but and mostly things like that.
Yeah, can you rotate it a little bit so we can see the sides, because the bottom part is different from a normal Benchy?
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Okay.
And did you do the modeling yourself, or was it a model you found?
No, it's a model made by Tulin, and it's a really great model. And I modified it a bit. For example, I changed the electronics a tiny bit, to have the the lights above here to be controlled by the RC, and for the rest, it's a really normal model, and it's made by Toolen and available on Thingiverse.
Yeah, it's cool because normal Benzi it will always go on its side,
Yeah.
and won't float. So yeah, it's cool. And I say Ben has a Benzi over there. Ben, yeah, show us that one.
But Ben used to own like one of the biggest 3D printing companies in the whole UK. It's kind of cheating. He has like the resources. Yeah.
That.
Yeah, he probably has some filaments leftovers.
But to be fair, you did that on your own printer, didn't you, Ben? So there was that was outside of the company.
Did that at home on my G-Max because just before I got my G-Max, the insurance told us that we couldn't print overnight, so it was a nightmare. So all our projects either had to be paused and resumed on like the Race 3D N2 Plus, or I had to print at home. So now that I print at home all the time, I do like 80-hour prints non-stop, and so it's better for that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't let you print overnight. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you should have seen how much stock of engineering tools we had. Then you wouldn't want to print overnight.
Yeah, and that Benzi took like 50 hours. Was it?
5 hours, and less than the spool of nightshade polyalchemy.
Yeah. I haven't done like I don't know. My landscape prints normally take like 2 days to print, so they're like 40 to 45 hours. This was one of my designs. I did this in Fusion 360, and this one took quite a while to print. This is a monument that is located in the farm where I grew up, and I created a replica of it. And actually, this model and one other model is I've been selling those to my relatives that have relations to that farm and have their parents being there or been there also. So I paid up my first printer by selling models. So that's good fun to get some money for models. So.
I think the interesting thing with the length of time that prints take, I mean, I remember going back, as I say, we had this Cell Robox at work, and I remember somebody coming and asking us to do a job, so we sliced it in the software that was there, and it came out at 22 hours, and we were horrified. We were, oh, no way we're going to tie up the printer for 22 hours. Oh, it might not even last. What's going to go wrong? If I slice something now and it comes up as 24 hours, I wouldn't even bat an eyelid. That kind of seems like normal to me. 16, 17 hours is a decent print. So it's funny how you kind of change over time your view of what would be. And then you look at this, like Joel just did the Fernando Jerez's Monstro City. And, you kind of look at it and go, oof, that was a long time. But you wouldn't actually flinch at setting a print off like that yourself. A little bit more cagey probably about were you going to get tangles on the spool and, have you got enough filament, etc. But the length of time, I think, has become less important. This was one of my early prints, and again, one of my playset ones. I think it was about 24 hours, something like that. There's large parts of this that are completely hollow, just using the kind of variable settings in Simplify 3D. So there's ways and means of, I guess, making these things go a lot quicker. And again, the big maker coin that I was showing recently on Twitter, and the trick behind that was that there was no bottom layers, and there was 5% infill until just below the surfaces twice. So there are ways of doing that.
Yeah, that looks pretty nice. Also from the backside, having no
I do like the reverse of it as well. If I'm honest.
Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah.
Ian called me out though, didn't you, Ian?
I did, mate. Because you've got those big printers, you really should use them. So you did a good job. You printed a big coin.
Anyway, Don't have it in here. It's in the garage still.
Oh no!
If you all want.
It's in. You mean it's in your finishing cell?
Yeah, finishing cell. Yeah, because I get lots of spray paint in the house.
Yeah, it was, for me when I got I had the Prusa MK2 and then I got the Prusa MK3 printer, and then I didn't mind long print times because I had the second printer to do shorter prints. So I've done like with the landscapes, it takes a long time, and then I got the CR10 to make them bigger because I was limited to the build volume of the MK2 or MK3 printers. The pure reason for the CR10 was to make the landscapes bigger. Now I can print huge landscapes.
Somebody asked in the chat, what's your 3D print? And for me, it's the master spool. I printed this. I'll show you both parts. So this is what I made as like my own transition. So this is Proto past the Purple Galactic Empire HTPLA, transitioned into Vertigo Galaxy Filamentum, transitioned into Gold Happens Filamentum as well on that side. And then I just went full on High Five Blue for that side. I really like what Rip did with this initiative. I know there's been a lot of like ins and outs of, you know, will this work, won't this work, and, you know, all this type of stuff. But, you know, for me, for something like that, especially when you get a coil, you know, rather than, you know, just a spool as a sample, because not every company sends you a full spool. They'll send you a coil and say, try this first, or they'll just give you a spool at a trade show or whatever. So it's nice that you have something like that you can, you know, utilize that sample with. And I think it's a great initiative. And if you haven't printed the master spool, I'd highly recommend it. Yeah, definitely. I use it always for the megabox samples. It's really easy to use it for samples, and then I have bought some refills also for the master spool from Das Filament, and they were one of the first filament companies to support the idea. And I really like this idea of having just to buy the refills and not the spools. Will save on shipping, and for me, like, it's normal for me to like buy a filament for $25, and if I was gonna ship one spool to Iceland, it would cost me maybe $50 to ship it. So I have to really take into account the shipping.
$50 to ship to Iceland.
Yeah, and sometimes $90. So
I'm not coming to Iceland anymore.
Yeah, I try to buy at least 5 or 10 spools at a time just to have a reasonable shipping. So it's to having not to have to ship the spool, it counts a lot in the total weight of the shipment. So I love the master spool. The problem I see with refills is though that the master spool is great. There's a lot of companies that do refills that don't comply to the master spool idea or standard. They do refills, but for different spools. So if you're going to use all those types of refills, you really have to print out several spools types. So that's really defeats the purpose.
Yeah, they seem to have missed the point of the whole concept, don't they? The refills is good, as you say, but the whole point of Rich's campaign, if you like, as I understand it, is that you come up with a standard, and you know, it's not kind of his standard to keep forever. He literally wanted to introduce that standard and then give it to the community and let them run with it. And I think you know, some of the companies seem to have got the wrong idea, and any refill, I guess, is pretty good, but yeah, I'm a big fan of the master spool. I've used a few. There's 3D Printworks, which is a company just up the road from me, and Ben's also used some of their spools on refills. And Das Filament, as you say, Martin, was one of the torch bearers, if you like, for master spool. And I've had a couple of refills at work, but also a couple at home. I went for the more sexy filaments at home. I went for Tom's Infinity Blue, and I went for the metallic red PLAs. And again, both gorgeous filaments and absolutely no detriment to them being on the refills rather than being on a spool.
Yeah, and Kat, you were talking to Richard when this idea was born, right?
Yes, yes. I jumped right into it when I saw it, and I printed it out, and I'm a big fan, and I will only buy refills from the original master spool system. I wouldn't buy anything else, because for me that is the standard, really.
Yeah, I get the idea if companies want to do like 1 kilo spools and have it at a wider spool, but the core should always be the same, and the method of assembling the zip ties so it will fit. So even though somebody would design a master spool that would be like 1 centimeter wider to accommodate 1 kilo, but comply to the standard in the other dimensions, that would
build
be okay.
On the standard.
I saw like Jatman Destin, he did some recap video on the master spool, and I think he had like 5 or 6 different core sizes measured out with different spools models he had found, and like
that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense and defeats the purpose of the master spool idea. So yeah,
he gave you the file, you used the file. That was the whole point of the file.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
absolutely. Like, as you say, I mean, I have been, as you can see, using that quite extensively. I've got a few, and that was the other argument that people had, was that, oh, I'd rather just buy a spool. Why are you printing one? And I had a lot of filament that I wasn't going to use otherwise. I literally wouldn't use it. So it just felt like the perfect use for that. And in some cases, I had one spool of filament that had been kind of water damaged, and wasn't printing that nicely. But it was perfectly fine. It was technically fine, so it printed and made use of that filament that otherwise I would have probably just thrown in the bin. So it's good from that. And I think Richard also makes the point that he's said himself that he'll only buy things that are refills or on cardboard spools, because the whole point is that it's the actual injection molded spools that are that are single use in most cases. They're the bad guys, if you like, in his scenario. And so the cardboard spools again are really good, and Proto pasta obviously make a really good cardboard spool.
Yeah, their cardboard are like fully recyclable.
Here, for instance, I'm like on an island here. And so everything that I buy has to be shipped from across the border somewhere. And it makes it extremely expensive, because the spool, how much does it weigh? 250 grams. So that's a lot of weight, and the more it weighs, the more you pay. So I'd rather buy some more filament instead of buying spool weight.
Yeah. There's a lot of advantages, isn't there, that come out of it, and I don't think that was a primary driver of it, the kind of logistics side of it, but it certainly seems to have helped. And I think there's I don't know, Ben might be able to tell us better, because I've never been involved in a business that's done any shipping, but there's apparently a magic figure of a kilogram, that if you're under a kilogram, it's actually cheaper to ship than if you're over a kilogram. So with all the packaging, etc., just being able to drag, if you buy a 750 gram spool, or even an 850 gram, I think, which is what the DAS filament ones are selling, that you can still get that in under a kilogram, again, helps with the shipping. And for all in the UK, we do okay for a lot of the filaments from a shipping point of view. We still see the same thing. We still see Proto pasta's prohibitively expensive to ship from the US. Fortunately, we've got just one supplier in the UK. Ben used to be the other one, but we're restricted down now to just the one. But yeah, I mean, it does make a huge difference to the consumer, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah,
I've actually got like I've actually got filament delivered in like the same day when it wasn't meant to be the same day from Amazon, because there's like a massive Amazon warehouse close quite close to London, so it's like they get the order and you just happen to get on the thing.
So lucky.
I mean, there's got to be some benefits to living in here. There's gotta be some benefits.
Filament by drone. That's a business, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
The whole drone delivery thing terrifies me because I live in a big city. Like, they're just gonna fall down and kill people. Like, yeah. So if you like, imagine like the Amazon traffic for London flying above my head. Like, no, I don't want. That would be awful.
There's rules and regulations. Having done the commercial drone pilot license, you can't go within 50 meters. So, you know, you have to be pretty high up to be able to get it to someone.
But these are the Amazon drones. Like, these are the, like, you don't think they will get special exception?
I don't know.
They seem to get special exception for a lot of things.
From tax and stuff like that, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, taxes. What are those?
I don't think that's going to happen. It's way too dangerous in most things.
You might find, I guess, you might find in really out of the way places. You know, I guess in the somebody that's on a farm in the middle of nowhere. Maybe it makes sense, but I mean, you would just imagine that from a cost point of view, it's not going to make a great deal of sense to the company sending it.
Shane from Prisma Research has asked if you can ask a question: what's your go-to filament brand in the EU that people in the States should try? Probably,
Colorfab.
Yeah, well, Colorfab's one, but you can get that from Print and Solid. 3D Printwork is one that I'd say to people to try and reach out to them, see if they can ship to you, because it's pretty good. You know, I was never really had any dealings with them very much. And just before we were about to close, about to take them on, and since I've become a content creator, I've actually printed more with Filamentum, and I really like them. Really good. Yeah, a bit of a brand bot over there. Sorry, my audio is stuttering. Is that any better? Yes.
I'm a complete Filamentum whore. I have to say that. You know, I love the Filamentum. It is, and you know, I'm very fortunate that I've had a lot of Filamentum provided free of charge. So you know, that's, I guess, always going to colour your decisions. But to be honest, I'd started buying it anyway on Tom's advice, Tom Jackson's advice, and absolutely loved it. And just pure happy coincidence for me that I then managed to hook up with Filamentum, and they managed to hook me up with quite a lot of filament. So absolutely, I also echo kind of Ben's thoughts on 3D Printworks. They're a small company that are literally just up the road from me. So I do like to give them rep. They also support Master Spool and self-filament at ridiculously low prices. There is a surprising number, I think, of UK filament suppliers. And when you actually look into it, it's kind of one of these things that you think, oh, it's really difficult to get filament, but there are actually quite a lot, as well as just the big names as well.
Yeah, Filamentive is really good stuff. All the stuff I've tried from there is really good. They're in Leeds as well, so yeah, check their stuff out if you haven't.
Me.
Aye. The Leeds 3D printing mafia.
I was so upset when I found out he was closing Hawk 3D Proto, because I was like, legit, I was asking for a job. Yeah, I was like, I could get out of London, I could go up to Leeds, get out of here, stop paying too much money to live, and like closing. Damn.
We can talk about that if anybody really wants to talk about that. But
I think I cleaned out Ben's Colorfab stock when he closed up. I just put everything that was available in the Charlton.
Good discounts when we were closing, that's for sure. You know what? It closed on a good note. I look back and I've had 6 excellent years in this community, this industry, and I'd give my right hand to do it all again tomorrow. But I'm glad that I can now work from home, create videos, and hopefully give something back as well. I just want to kind of Martin said at the beginning that if we've got any like topics to talk about, that we can do that. So I hope it's all right. I'm reviewing ColourFab Engine looks at the moment, and I've got some prints here. I just want to show you them, but for the people in the chat, I'd just like to ask your opinion, because it'd be good for my feedback on the review as well. Because like you can print really, really good stuff like this. This is the Engine looks, and this is like an 80-hour print or whatever it was, and it's like almost 3/4 of a spool of filament, but the price seems to put a lot of people off. And I'd just love to know from the community that are in here, what people think and like that, if that's okay as a talking point, just to kind of get the chat going a bit as well. And this is another one that I've done. This is Gandalf, another 70-hour print using the Engine Lux Nature Green. I know there's a lot of people that like filamented vertigo grays better and stuff, and just that comparison and everything. I think it's quite a talking point, really.
Yeah, I have the Engine Lux Regal Violet was the name of the color. I got that filament from ColourFab as a review cement, and it looks awesome. And I even sent a part of it over to Heather and Lauren, because they really like pink and glitter.
I'd be really interested to know if there's anybody that has it that's actually bought it, because I mean, it is expensive. It is, and the bit that I struggle with is I don't understand why it's so expensive. Why it's more expensive than Engine, why it's more expensive than kind of similar products like PETGs from Hertz or from Spanner Hands. I get that it's got a bit of glitter in it, but the difference in price between PLA and PLA with glitter in it doesn't really compare to what we're seeing on that. So I would be interested to know why it is twice as expensive as normal Engine.
Yeah, I haven't tried it because it is so expensive. Yeah, I would also like to know what is so special about it.
Yeah, I don't know what the secret sauce is expensive, but it looks awesome. But there must be some chemical in it for that is more expensive. I don't know what it is, but
herbs and spices it must be.
Yeah.
I also think it's not really worth the price for it. It really looks nice, but I think it's really too expensive.
Yeah, and Paul, for you're in the Netherlands. Is ColourFab like a go-to filament for you because it's local, or?
Yeah, I'm printing a lot of the normal Engine, and that's an okay price. It's still expensive as normal PLA. But I like the material. I like using a local fabricator. But there are things that are just much cheaper, also for the normal Engine. So I do print a lot on it, but not always, especially not for prototyping things and like that.
I've had good results with the normal Engine as well. We were forced to, I guess, use it. It was one of the ones that were on the smart spools from Cell Robox. So we finished up with a lot of that, and as you say, it just seems to print really nice. You get a nice finish, considering it's a cold polyester.
The print quality is great. Yeah.
I will say with the to just spend on filament, but I love ColourFab stuff, so I always buy their stuff when it's on sale, and I end up just like Engine Lux is cool, Engine Flex is cool. All those are all really cool things for like niche use cases. Like you'll buy a roll of it, you'll use it for like the novelty, and then you'll keep it for like 1 or 2 years till you find the right model to print with it. But like I just buy the best thing I think they've put out is their PLA economy rolls. Like every time those on sale, I just grab 2 of those. It's just like 5 kilos of filament for like gram for gram. It's like it's cheaper than their normal stuff on the 750 gram spools. So you're getting like really high quality filament on sale for like normal filament prices on like Amazon, gram for gram.
Yeah.
I think I'm the same with that with Form Futura. So I really love the Form Futura stuff. But personally, I probably wouldn't buy it unless it was on sale, just because of the premium price. But again, I mean, I say that I have bought a few spools in the past, but the HD glass, I guess, is the comparative to engine and to other kind of pet G type products. And again, they do the thing that I like about Form Futura is they do some really nice colors in that HD glass, transparent and non-transparent ones, and there's some really nice stuff. I actually got, funnily enough, because I was I don't know whether anybody saw the videos, but when Ben was actually closing down the last week, I think it was the last but one day before he actually closed up shop, we went down to visit him, and he very graciously gave me a spool of HD glass while I was there. So I've got that yet to print with, but I'll find something to honour him properly with that.
Yeah, no worries, Ian. More than welcome.
Of course, you have a windmill, Paul. Of course, he has.
Oh, that looks so awesome! Cool.
I just got in there.
The filament from Colorfab I mostly love is their wood filament. It's just really great filament to print with, and I think that's one of the things that comes out great. And you can also see it on this windmill, and that's just really great.
Yeah, that print looks awesome.
It is an awesome windmill.
Yeah, here's my son. He wanted to show up in the stream, but he doesn't hear us because I don't have a headphone set for him. So he's just watching. Yeah, but on the Colorfab, this one is Colorfab engine, not the Lux, just the engine. This looks amazing engine. This is like a green transparent. Somewhat transparent. It looks absolutely awesome, and like with the engine Lux, you really had to have a special project or art thing that you're printing out that you could sell or showcase to because the price is so high. You have to have if you can sell the print as an artistic piece.
Yeah, exactly. Like that really puts me off things. It's like I want to print because it's fun. I don't want to have to think about like the money I'm spending, like, oh, this print is £8 in Woodfill. It's like, would I spend £8 in a shop buying this thing? No.
Yeah. If you problem. have the business case for it, then it could make sense.
Oh, okay.
He wants to show this. This is a thing he designed in Fusion 360. At the beginning, he did some things in Tinkercad and told me very short. After a short while, he wanted some more advanced program than Tinkercad to model. He's doing a lot of stuff.
That's superb.
Here's a scan of his head. He wanted to show.
What are you using to do the scanning? That's something I'd love to do.
Yeah, I bought the 3D Sense, like 3D scanner that you can move around you and do a scan. It's not very accurate. And what I did for the MakerCoin, where I have a very detailed model of my face, I just took images, or my wife took images all around my head and torso, and I used a program called PhotoScan to create a 3D model, and that is much more accurate than the Sense 3D scanner.
Your son's got the CSGO knives.
Yeah, Ben has it there.
But did you 3D print the CSGO knife? Because if I had 3D printing when I was in school, I would have been rich. 3D printing stuff like that for people in school.
Yeah, I printed that one and painted it like that. It's pretty awesome. It's got blood all over.
My brother built his entire gaming PC selling CSGO knives. I don't understand how that works, but he did.
Yeah. Yeah, I get on a regular basis requests from him to print all kind of gaming stuff, and also from his brother. he's into like what's called the Japanese cartoons and
Anime.
anime, yeah. And if he can find the model on My Manufactory or Thingiverse, he gives me requests for prints that I print out for him.
The Lightspeed just asked in the chat a bit ago, why did I close? I just want to just answer that question if you don't mind. The reason why we closed was because my parents were selling the bigger part of our family business. So I had to exit, close the 3D business a month before. It's that simple, I guess.
Yeah, so yeah.
So a while back, somebody asked, what is the most practical print you ever did? It was 3D Gassner.
Yeah, that's when I touched on the master spool.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I've never 3D printed anything practical.
Oh, I love practical printing. So that I never thought that. People talk about koozies, and I never thought it was. I couldn't really understand it. But if you've got a cold drink, it's I can understand it. But that is Filamentum Flex Fill, and it prints really easily and came out great, and keeps you safe from getting a cold hand. But yeah, I absolutely love practical printing. And you know, as I said earlier, the thing that really drove me into to printing was this, you know, need to be able to make it myself. When you're out and you say, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good. It's expensive and doesn't quite do what I want." I know, fire up CAD, I can make that myself. So the house is kind of filled with little bits and pieces. My workshop is filled with little bits and pieces that are designed and printed for that purpose.
Yeah, I printed when we moved into the house that we live in here now. I printed the doorbell because it's a illuminated plate and there's a light behind it, and then you can read the name, you know. So that was one, and the other one is the post box, the name plate, because otherwise it would have cost lots of money to get it made out of aluminium, you know. And so those were the most practical prints I did up to now.
Yeah, I think the most practical print I've done was a shelf in my refrigerator door. I have a very old refrigerator in the kitchen, and we had only a few shelves that were not broken. And the reseller for the refrigerator didn't have any spare parts, and we also couldn't find it online because it was sold. So I drew up a shelf in Fusion 360 and printed out, and it's been on my refrigerator for over a year, and it's working quite well. And that was like the most useful single item. But a lot of practical prints are around my 3D printers and fixtures for power bricks and lights and all sort of stuff around 3D printers itself. So there.
I think I'd struggle to show many of my practical 3D prints because they're all in use and they're all, you know, the kind of the one that I did the video on recently was the rubberized kind of again with flex fill feet for the dining room chairs, so that they didn't scratch the surface of the laminated floor that we've got in the kitchen. And that sort of thing, you know, I really love it. It didn't take long to print. It didn't take long to model, and it's something that you probably wouldn't have been able to buy. So we would have to, you know, buy new chairs, I guess. So it's, you know, it's having the ability to just, if you can, what's your tagline again, Ben? If you can think it, print it.
No, print it, yeah.
So it really is that. If you can think it up, and you've got the modicum of skills in CAD to actually model that, then the fact that you can just then take it out, press the go button on your printer, and you know, a few hours later you've got it in your hand, I think is really powerful. It's what makes 3D printing. I think such an engaging hobby.
It was actually my dad that came up with the strap line when we started it, because the name was Cutwell 3D printing, or I developed Hawk 3D Proto, because I wanted it to be part of the business. So then it was Cutwell 3D printing, but then I was like, it needs to be more on its own, something a bit separate, and I wanted it to have the family name in Hawksworth, so I came up with Hawk 3D Proto. So there's a bit of background to how Hawk 3D Proto came about.
Yeah, about those practical prints, most of them are in use around the house, and small items are a regular thing that I find the need for, to hang something up or fix some problem that you can't really go out in a store and buy for. So it's all those small parts.
I think in the age of buying things from eBay, from manufacturers in China, that you can't always readily get spare parts. I think it comes into its own. So I had an issue with it's a background stand that I've got. I'm a very keen amateur photographer, and I had studio gear there and a background stand, and the background stand at the bottom where the tripod is, the part that held it together broke. And as I say, it was kind of something that I bought off eBay, no brand on it, sort of thing. So really difficult to actually get the spare parts. So it would have been a case of just go and buy another one, so it actually saved me quite a lot of money by just being able to take that, model it, come up with what I thought was actually a slightly better design than the one that was on it. It's always good to be able to do that as well. And the thing's been in use ever since. So that was probably 18 months ago that I did that, and I've used it quite a lot since then. So, the ability to be able to pick that up and do that, I think is great. By the same token, I do love the non-practical stuff as well, and that was really difficult for me to get my head around at first. It was a really, really hard one to go from just making the practical stuff, which was where I started mainly for work, to the more frivolous side, if you like. But I think you learn an awful lot by doing that. You learn heaps by printing other people's models. You learn a lot by modeling your own stuff that's kind of more fun. And as with most people, I think I was dragged into the more fun side of that by Joel. When I first got on my first view of kind of the wider community and I guess RepRap, etc., was we got a Flash Photo Creator Pro, and I was looking for videos of it in use and how to better use it. And the first one I saw was Naomi, Sexy Cyborg. She was actually doing, and I think it was an unboxing and putting it together. And from there, I think because Joel started on a Flash Photo Creator Pro, when you searched for that, Joel came up as the next one, and that was me sucked into the community, and you then grows arms and legs and you shoot off looking at all the other people that are creating videos. But there's I think there's a lot of value in some of the non-practical stuff as well, just for fun, from a hobby point of view, for an easy way to engage other people, especially kids, but also from a learning. It's a lot easier to print a load of Pikachus hollow and go, oh, hollow, that works.
I think nearly every one of us prints non-practical stuff, and I think it's a huge part of actually printing things, because it's really important to show what's possible to others as well that are not directly into 3D printing. And with a practical print, it's sometimes hard to show what's possible. With printing a Pikachu or something, you can show something they recognize, and they want to be more informative of what's happening with that.
Yeah, it's like most of the print I do is maybe for content on reviews or filament reviews or some projects, but sometimes I print stuff just for fun. Like this is a orange model I found, and it's a orange. And then I found a banana model and a potato, and I was just printing those models just to have fun. And
is this a real banana for scale?
Oh, superb.
Yeah, it's a banana for scale for this potato.
Is it fully calibrated?
Yeah, it's.
Fantastic.
I bought 100 bananas and found the average size for a banana to get it in scale. But those are just for fun, and I'll probably do like just a fun project video with all the fruits and vegetables I'm printing out. I found a guy on Thingiverse that does a 3D scan, very detailed, of all kind of fruits and food items, and it's really detailed models. And I was having the 12-pack of colors from AAO Robotics. They have like PLA, like half a kilo spools with 12 different colors, and I was finding that filament nice to print out different colors of fruits. So that's a project that will probably end up in a video, but I started with the orange just to have fun.
Just really cool. I just noticed that Tom's popped back into the chat, and as Daniel Nerea is also on the chat, I just thought it would be worth showing this. This is actually Tom's print that he gave to me, and my kids have been playing with it of Daniel's dump truck, and it is awesome. So and again, you know, I guess you know, Tom will be able to tell you more, but you probably learn so much again by scaling things up and seeing, you know, the bridging that's done in the cab is ridiculously good. It's just, you know, you probably, when you first set out designing stuff, you wouldn't even dream of trying to bridge across that sort of gap, and yet there you go, it can. So as I say, you really can learn a lot from them. And the other side of it is kind of the community. And the community, I think, does great things. And again, I'm going to quote Tom, and I'm going to quote Fernando Perez. But as we've all seen recently, Wavy Wednesday, which has been something that's been able to get all of the community engaged. There we go, Kat. All of the community engaged and turn on, and we kind of turned it around this week as well to shine a spotlight on the issues that Wellbot's having. So I think you can really use the good feeling in the community and the, you know, what are essentially fun prints to do good as well. So I think there's an awful lot to be said for printing those funny things. And as Tom said on the chat, you know, he doesn't do practical prints. He only does awesome prints. So
yeah, it's pure awesome. The prints he puts out, so some good print quality and nice models he finds also.
I still like with because you guys, almost all of you do videos now. It's like people have been trying to tell me to do videos for like years now, but I'm not even sure like how you guys even. I don't know how you keep doing it. Like I'm like a very ADD person, as anyone who's been paying attention to my window and watching me fidget this whole time is seeing. And it's like, I get making like 5 YouTube videos. I don't get how you guys make 50 YouTube videos. Like that's the part of it that like I've always struggled with when people have told me like, oh, you should jump in and start doing stuff. It's like I run out of ideas really, really quickly with stuff, and I was like, I don't know how you guys keep, you know, like somebody like Joel, right? I've been watching Joel's channel since it was like 1,500 subscribers, something like that. And like Joel's videos are all still really interesting. I actually sit and watch all of them. And I don't know how I would do the same thing. Like, how do you guys keep... Joe says it's the ADD that lets us make 50 videos.
For me, it costs me lots of energy. You know, it's for me, it's very hard to stand or to sit in front of a camera. Usually, when I create a film, it takes me so many takes because I'm so nervous. I'm looking for words, and for me, it's like a therapy. You know, to get more self-confidence and And also the editing takes lots of time, but every time you do it again, and then when the film is up on YouTube, and you're so proud of yourself, you know, and yeah, and yeah, it's yeah, just do it.
I have to say, as Katja, it's really hard for me to be on camera, and also it's something new, and yeah, it's really nervous to be on camera and do something, but just do it and keep trying, and after a while you get more used to it, and it goes better and better.
I also feel like my videos would get age restricted. I feel like I was just like, you know, everyone in the 3D printing community is like so lovely and wholesome, and like none of my humor and mentality is wholesome at all. Just like,
I fully agree. I was actually in Sweden in April, and just everyone was so friendly, and it was just great.
Yeah, and I'm just like the loudmouth dude, just like, "What's up, guys?"
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm like the opposite of like some people are like Walter on Country 3D. He's always really welcoming on his streams and just what's up everybody. There's a lot of things going on, but I'm like sitting in my chair, almost not moving like a dead corpse, and, and having difficulty just to smile and I do that.
I have noticed you don't move. I love watching your videos, like especially when you do the time lapses of the painting, because it's just like 3D printing is cool, like where we can do that. But when you just paint, it's like, okay, that's dope, that's real dope, you know, and that's what engages it for me. Just watching you do something that I find incredibly cool. I just have no artistic talent whatsoever.
Yeah, I find it really relaxing to paint. It takes me maybe half an hour to 45 minutes to do each landscape, and then I speed it up like 5 times in the post-processing, and I really enjoy doing the painting and watching it. It's good fun, and I got several comments from the Lightspeed. He's always asking me to dance on my videos. I'm not sure if I'm gonna dance, but maybe someday I'll keep some hope in him.
I actually find it really hard on the videos to be natural and to. I mean, I'm usually kind of the first one to be cracking a joke and lighthearted, and I watch some of my videos back and go, Jesus, crack a smile. Because, you know, I think it's really easy to get intense and to get, all right, I must get this right. And as Kat was saying earlier, you know, the difficulty in getting it just so that you're happy with it. So you record it and go, no, I'm not really happy with that. Now I'm recording in my native language, so you know I've got one advantage, but I just find that really difficult. It's just to come across the way I think I am. Is the really difficult bit.
It's like my personality is more suited to like more streaming kind of things. I feel like I would be better in that realm. But then the only person I like, 3D printing doesn't really translate to streams very well. Like the act of 3D printing doesn't really. No. Like I like 3D. You know, the closest thing I did is I think I did a couple streams where I was like 3D printing props from games while streaming the game on Twitch, and it was cool, but like the gimmick was over in like 3 hours. I was like, okay, I'm bored of this now.
That's the key thing, isn't it? If you're getting bored of it, then you're not going to be creating the more content.
Yeah.
So you need to something that doesn't bore you is what you need to find, obviously. It might be hard to recognize this, but I like to talk. So, and I like to talk about 3D printing. And guess what? I don't actually know, in my normal everyday life, I don't know many people that would like to talk about 3D printing quite as much as I do. So the videos are kind of an outlet for me to do that talking. So I inflict that on my paltry number of subscribers, but you know, it just gets it out of my system, I guess, and gives my wife some peace.
Yeah, I have to give a shout out to Jeffrey for doing the 365 project last year. He did a video on every day for all last year, printing out.
That was really awesome. I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of this.
Yeah, because we were talking about how we output videos, and I think he was like mastering it. It's very difficult to keep up with doing that.
I think, Niall, in terms of like starting a channel or starting to stream about 3D printing or whatever, what I would do is, you obviously like doing cosplay or you like gaming or something like that. You could print a mount for a Xbox controller or PS4 controller, something like that, and make it relative to something that you want to talk about, and then just like show that passion. I mean, like if you're that guy, like you said, that's like, oh, what's up, everybody? How's it going? And things like that. When you want to start a video, be that guy on the stream. Be that guy in the video. Excuse me. All my videos are so unscripted, it's untrue. I'm just me. I'm Yorkshire Ben. I'm from the heart. You get me, whether I'm on here, whether I'm on Twitter, whatever. And that's what I want to be, because then if you meet me in the street or you meet me at a show or whatever, you just know that I'm the guy that you've been watching, and I'm not, anything other than that. And this is how I've done it for the past like almost 18 months of doing it on YouTube, and I really, really enjoy it, and it comes from my heart when I put a passion into everything that I do. And I'm self-taught, completely self-taught. Okay, I've got a photography background. Video, I had no idea what I was doing. So a guy at our work used to know how to do Premiere Pro, but he knew the basics. So I got those basics and then kind of taught myself the rest of it. And I know I'm not the best editor, but I just wanted to learn it. And if you want it that bad, I just say, go ahead and do it. And people will tune into it. And okay, what happens if somebody says you get 3 thumbs down? I don't think it'll happen, because you've got the passion. You're here already. You want to do it. You're streaming now. I'd say just one day, just go, right, today's the day I'm going to do it.
I feel like I would have failed if nobody thumbs down my video. Everyone has to just dislike everything I do.
Do they not work well in the YouTube kind of engine anyway? It's any sort of interaction, whether it's a like, a dislike, or
it works as engagement. Yeah. It's. I might start doing podcasting again. I just need to get myself into like a rhythm with that. I'm probably going to start trying to do that from the beginning of next month, because people enjoyed when I did that a lot more. For some reason, especially all the Americans watching, apparently my voice is good for podcasting. I have no idea why you think this, because I feel like I sound
English.
Yeah, I feel like I just sound like I have to very much tone down the North London in my speak, because I feel like I'm going to sound like I'm going to stab everyone, because that's how everyone who talks from where I'm from sounds. It's terrible.
I get the same. I get people kind of just expect me to steal the stereo out of the car, I think.
People did like that, so I should do that more.
Yeah. I think that is definitely something, and I'm sure we've talked about it on Twitter with Richard as well. And I think that we're missing some good podcasts. I know. I mean, I don't travel in the car as much as I used to, but that used to be a godsend. The sort of things that I was into at the time, that I was doing an awful lot of traveling in the car, were more kind of Raspberry Pi and all that sort of stuff. But I used to listen to podcasts all the way up and down the motorways, and it did make the time fly by. It's a really good way to kind of consume that sort of content, I think.
So if anyone out there wants to sponsor 3D printing podcasts, what's up?
Lab, why don't me, you, and Ian do your next podcast, us three, like together?
That'd be good. Yeah.
No, I can't go on anything with Ben. I'm sorry. No. I've got an NDA that says I'm not allowed to do that.
Okay.
Gave him it.
Yeah, it's. I think that will be good, because I need to get back into moderation on the group, which is starting to get to me a little recently. I upset everyone again, doing the same thing I always do, but I did it about guns, and that makes me evil apparently now. So I'm like, I've taken a break for this month because people are just stressing me out. Because it's like, I can't. The group. I really like how successful the group has become, and there's so amazing people on there who do such good stuff, but it's too big. There's too many actually crazy. Like, you do something wrong and 500 people are on your case, and it's like just ridiculous. So it's really weird. It's really weird to like sort of wrap my head around a lot of the things. Like when you see like impression on the post that you made for 4,000 people, you know, it's like, I guess it's like quite normal for like people with big channels and big followings and stuff, but I'm very much not used to that. You know, I'm just like firing off stuff from the hip, making fun of this, doing this, posting this meme, posting that meme, like mixing it all together, and you know, it's starting to feel like less. It's starting to feel like less ground community driven and more like, I must now be a representative of corporate entities. You know, it's starting to bug me. I'm not sure if it's my outlook with it, if it's
Miles,
the sheer volume of the community or what.
Miles, are you feeling the wrath of those keyboard warriors?
Yeah, and it normally doesn't get to me. And if I didn't have the rest of the team, I would just lose it sometimes. Honestly, because they're like, Miles, don't kill everyone. Like, calm it down, bring it back in. Because I just want to start just like throwing the memes and throwing the gifs out there, because it's like, it's funny, but it's also really silly. Because like, I don't know, nothing will be worse than fidget spinners though. Like, somebody actually doxed me over fidget spinners. Believe it or not, it was like, I offended people so much when I was like, no more fidget spinners, because everyone just hates them and everyone's fighting. Like, we've done like political stuff, but like banning all political discussion caused less conflict than
Miles,
banning fidget spinners.
I think you need to explain what you are actually doing.
I just like, see, like, rather than be all serious, because I'm not a very serious person, right? If I'm gonna say something, I like try to be funny with it and like quite hyperbolic and throw in some like topical internet reference. And that's been upsetting more and more people the more and more I do it. And I feel like I've been really consistent in that for years now. But all of a sudden it's like starting to really annoy people. I just don't know why. It's like, you loved the GIFs and the memes like a year ago, and now they're not okay.
Yeah, it's difficult to moderate a big group. But we have a newcomer in the chat. We have an infiltrator from the US, John.
European roots.
Hi.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm Irish Italian.
It's always the US people who are the most angry, but you didn't hear that from me.
Triggered. I'm triggered.
Yeah. So welcome. If you want to do your intro, you're welcome to introduce you.
Yeah, no, that's not necessary. I'll just say, hey, I'm John. What do you do? I run a YouTube channel. Yeah, there you go. I'm really here just to wish the F3D PCH extension into Europe success, and thanks Martin for taking that on, and thanks Miles and everybody else, and Kat for joining in. It's awesome. I love seeing this growth and representation that what came from a year and a half ago, somebody trying to organize something of a live stream.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I sent like a Twitter group to like 4 or 5 people that I thought might be interested on Twitter, maybe just over 3 weeks ago. Just in 2 days' time, we are 20 people in the group, and a lot of people had interest. And since we announced it to do on this time, the alternate Friday for the US stream, I think it's a good platform. And now we are moving on to a single channel also to make things easier for the audience, because now we are doing a stream each week, and it's been difficult maybe for some people to find the stream that is on that week or that Friday. also difficult for people to find previous streams, because if you remembered a stream some months ago about some subject, it would be very difficult for you to find that stream. So we are from now on, we are moving on to a single YouTube channel that's dedicated to this Hangout. So it will be the Friday Hangout channel, and so we are just, or Matt is organizing the US part of the stream, and I and Ben are organizing the Europe part of the stream. I think it's a good fit at this time point to do us like a single channel stream. So we will post, if Matt can post the link to the Friday Hangout YouTube channel. It doesn't have not many subscribers at the moment because it's new. We have to still get 100 subscribers on it to get a name for the channel.
If we don't have 100 subscribers by the end of tomorrow, I will start making memes about people. You're all out there. You all have Facebook. You all have Twitter. You all want people to see this. Yeah, you know what you have to do.
Like, if we don't have 100, I'm going to start making fidget spinners.
Okay.
So was it Ben who was saying that there's not a lot of people that like to talk about 3D printing?
You guys better do it. All right. I know all your Facebooks and Twitters. I see you out there. If I don't start seeing shares, it's going to be a problem. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do my part for sure.
Everyone needs to do their part because
I want to get so I'm working on banner number 2. I don't know if you guys have seen the banner that we presented at Murph and Earth, but I want to do the banner and have that ready for next Murph and Earth. So I'll need you to DM me your headshot and your logo, your channel logo, so I can add that on there. And that's all. I think we should upload our previously recorded videos from our channels up to F3D PCH so they can all be sourced in one spot. I'll do my part and download them and give them to Matt to upload.
Yeah, that could be a good idea to.
Yeah, that way they're sourced. Yeah. I mean, you can still have the link to the original where, hey, this was hosted on blah 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 channel, so that credit's still given to the person who was hosting it, but it'll be a repository for all the past live streams, and it'll show a good history of what happened. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. So at the moment we have 29 subscribers at the moment. So yeah. But I think until tomorrow we're gonna go over 100.
I'm gonna have to jump off now, but I'll share it and do my part to get people on board. You can create a name ahead of that, but then there's complications because then you have to have a number at the end of the name, and it's better if you wait till the 100 subscribers to define the name.
Yeah. So, thanks for joining in.
Yeah, thanks guys, and thank you everyone for joining in as the panelist here. That's awesome. All right, later everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, and Matt posted the link to the YouTube channel, so it would be awesome if you could jump over to that channel and subscribe so we can secure the name.
Not awesome, it's mandatory.
Yeah, it's mandatory. Yeah, and it's also mandatory to subscribe to my channel. And I'll have everybody's social media links in the video description, so you can, if you want to join others, the co-hosts' channels, the links are in the video description.
Guys, I'm going to have to go. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope you have an awesome weekend. I've got to head out now, so I'll catch you all.
See you later.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Bye-bye.
See you later, Ben.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Matt was saying there's a playlist on the channel for all previous streams. That's awesome. So people can go and find all the
wait, we go. How many likes do we have on the video?
30.
How many people we got watching?
34.
War.
You guys are good. I don't have to, you know, if we're gonna be YouTubers, right? And we have to. I'm like the young person, or I'm the millennial here, so I have to be like, "What's up, guys? Welcome to the video. You better throw a like on it. I haven't done absolutely anything to earn this, but do it right now because I'm tired."
Yeah, I have to hire you for like an outro clip for my channel.
I will be a 3D printing hype man whenever you need.
So the likes have just rocketed, Miles, and I think that's probably because all of us that are sat here on the stream have suddenly gone, "Oh, I've not liked it," because that's certainly what I did.
If only people off the internet did what I said as much.
Okay. Oh, come on, I'm sure.
It's you know, it's really easy, and I'm not hyped up on Red Bull. It's fine. I should be the 3D printing evangelist if only I was like more PC and professional.
Yeah, and I was thinking as we are going just around the 2-hour mark for the stream, we would because time flies. We could do like the outros. What we have done in the previous streams is just as the intro, tell people where people can find you and what's your like channel name on Twitter or social media accounts. So if we would start with Kat, do your outro.
Yeah, so it would be so nice if I could meet you over on my channel, Cat3D, and you could also find me on Twitter and also on Instagram, and hope to see you soon again, and keep on printing, lots of fun stuff, and hope to see you next time.
Yeah, thank you, and Ian, you're next.
Okay, so I'll do what I did last time, just to make it easy for people. So depending on how I pronounce it, but that is my Twitter and other social media handle, and also there on YouTube. I do videos. I print a lot, and I tweet a lot, and I'm post quite a bit on Instagram. Although I still don't get Instagram because, unlike Miles, I'm quite old, and so I really don't understand what Instagram's about. I should have probably asked my granddaughter. She would probably be able to tell me what it's all about. But as I say, Ian, and I pronounce that irblinx, but that's just in my head. You can pronounce it any way you want.
Yes, thank you, and Miles, you're up.
Okay, I don't have a YouTube channel really. Well, I technically do, but it's like 7 subscribers, so don't worry about that. It's not there. It doesn't exist. Just check me out on Twitter. The link's in the description. I guess I'm now got a prep for this podcast I'm doing with Ian and Ben, because they've kind of just now I have to do it because you all said me and you're going to harass me if I don't do it. So let's figure that out. Gotta figure out how I'm going to get back into that again. Yeah, thank you for having me on the stream. I will hopefully be back very, very soon. Don't buy TiVo.
Thank you. Paul, you're up.
Thank you. Hi, Paul. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter as 3D printing stuff, and I try to put videos online regularly.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm Marteinn. And you can call me Marteinn. It's easier for you to say Martin than Marteinn. And you're on my channel 3DP Iceland. I'm also on Twitter as 3DP Iceland. So that's platforms I use for 3D printing, Twitter and YouTube. So that's me. What I do on my channel is to print all the things and review filaments and do the landscapes like those showed you earlier. So that's kind of my thing on my channel, to do those landscapes. It's good fun to paint, and I'm learning to paint while I do it. I have no background in painting. and Jeffrey, you're right. Everybody here is for the cats. I have 2 cats that are regular talents on my streams, jumping in on the table, and one especially is always trying to play with the things I have on my table. So yeah, 3D Gustness say, come to my channel, komið á rásina mína. That's in Icelandic. Yeah, but that's me. So I wanted to.
Those aren't words. That was just the stream.
Yeah, it's very difficult for people to learn Icelandic, and it's
very difficult. I couldn't tell where one word starts and the other word ends.
Yeah, it's hectic to learn Icelandic, and it's quite difficult. But yeah, I want to do the outros, but we are welcome to chat on because we have a good stream and a lot of people watching, and we don't need to end the stream even though we are reaching the 2-hour marks. So
I'll just point out from the chat there that's not a carrot. It's also not a parsnip, which is other people said it's a rocket. That's what it is. It's a rocket. Maybe I could have done a better job of representing a rocket, but that's what it's supposed to be.
I saw a rocket.
For me, it looked like a fish.
I thought it was a carrot, and I said,
"No, I say it must be an Icelandic thing." Carrot,
no. Think about it, right? It's an unintentional Rorschach test.
Right. Well, there you go then. It says more about them than it does about me. Is exactly what I was thinking, Miles.
You always got to make it about other people.
Definitely.
Yeah. And Paul, do you have a maker coin for your channel?
No, I don't have one yet. I should make one, but never had the time of it. And I'm really bad at modeling, so I need to learn that. But it's really hard to find time for it.
I should make my maker coin a triangle just to be weird.
Yeah, that would be something. Yeah, if you watch Angus Maker's Muse Cat for Newbies, he has really good series on how to get started with Fusion 360.
All right. I might catch some hate for this, right? I might catch some hate. I hate Fusion 360 so much. I can't get the sketches thing into my brain. I'm learning Rhino. I'm sorry.
It's. I think people should just basically use whatever they're most comfortable with, and depending on your background and what you've done before, it's going to be different for everybody. It really is. Fusion makes a lot of sense to me because I did CAD at college, and it was back in the days when AutoCAD was where it was at. I've also done. I done a little bit of couture at work, but not much. And so the idea of the 3D modeling thing is all right, but starting off with a drawing is ingrained in me. As I say, the engineering background does that as well. So I can understand how that would be difficult. I know when I 3D printed, and somewhere I've got it around there, when we were moving house, I 3D printed the house just so that we could get an idea of what it was, because the issue my wife was having was that and again, I don't know how to say this in layman's term, but basically we were our house was the opposite hand to the drawing. So my wife was looking at it and going, I don't understand. Where's that room? Which is that room? And we'd already been, we've been in, again, the opposite hand of the house. And she just couldn't get her head around where everything was, where it fitted. So I 3D printed it, and then I could show it her. And she then got it because it was a 3D model. She could point at the different rooms and say, what's that? But on a drawing, no idea.
Architecture is really, really cool. I'd love to print or create something like that in the future. It's really nice.
Somebody needs to make a modeling app for the Oculus Go. I just picked this up, and it needs to be a thing, and it isn't a thing. So I think smart people out there.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but I know that we've been looking at work. We're kind of we're heavily involved in a big research project, I guess, in the aerospace industry, and we've been looking at all sorts of things. The latest project that we're working on is essentially telling you that you need to do things differently. So they're away trying to think of how to do things differently. And one of the technologies they've looked at is using VR to probably not to do the actual modeling as such, but more to do the interrogation of those models. So when you come to, everybody needs to do a big presentation and you need to all agree on whether this is right or not, that you could all be in that VR space. And there's off-the-shelf products that do that as well. They're all extremely expensive. They're not home user kind of costs.
I've been messing around with Unity 3D and the Oculus for like the past week or so. It's been pretty cool. One thing I like, as I said, like when I was getting into 3D printing, one of the things I wanted to print was stuff from games. So I'm waiting for the next generation HTC Vive when they have the proper Vive trackers and stuff, because I want to like make a game where the weapon in the game is a 1-to-1 scale and tracked in VR and 3D printed as well. I think that would be like a cool little Kickstarter, just like a small little game. I'll probably get like 4 or 5 of my buddies and we'll do it in like a month, just to like throw like a really small project together and just see how that comes out.
You want to harness something like the what was the Disney, the Nintendo one, where you could put you put the little figures on the pads and you got them in the game.
There's so many counterfeit amiibos that are 3D printed. I don't know if you guys know that. So many people got 3D printed amiibos and just copied the NFC. They broke the encryption on the NFC tags, so you can just write it to NFC tags for people like, I can't afford an amiibo, so I'm just gonna buy like 50 NFC tags from China and just scan them into the game.
But you could. I'm thinking you could have like add-ons for your gun that were literally.
You wouldn't need to do that. You could just like, if you like had a point, so you say you wanted to change the length, I'd probably do it with like a bolt or something, like get a bolt, and then you just glue the bolt on each side, and then you could just have an option to change it in the game and you change it in real life. But you'd have to do it like, you'd have to like break play session, because you imagine like pausing the game and like unscrewing something in your gun. Be like, like we should
like
have
real
like,
life.
cool laser tag. Yeah, but don't shoot people in real life.
No,
with 3D printed guns, especially on my Facebook group. Don't put the files on the group, people. I don't want Facebook to come for me. Okay, we all know Mark Zuckerberg is a machine. He watches everything personally.
Yeah, here you can see one of my cats. This one is normally biting into my prints and eating the prints.
Oh, so cute. Mine is lying down there. Maybe she wants to come up again. Oh,
yeah.
She's a monster. She's a monster. Oh.
Cats are at the top of the food chain. Changed my mind.
Yeah, they have somewhat learned to not to go into the 3D printers though. I had quite a worry when I got my first printer. The cats would like go into the mechanics of it while it was moving, but they have left the printers alone. So it hasn't been a real problem. But like if I have something on my table I'm printing, they will knock it down on the floor and play with it and be a cat.
Like, luckily mine never did that.
I would have thought that cats would 3D print this more. Because it's like a thing that's moving, and you see like you like put any moving thing in front of a cat on the internet, it's just like going for it.
The other cat I have, he's very often on the table with me, and when I'm watching the printers, he will just stand next to me and watch the printer with me. So we have spent probably hours watching 3D prints come to life, me and my cat.
You see Chris there saying Tinkercad for the win. Whether this is interesting or not, I don't know. I actually still use 123D an awful lot.
I do as well.
I just, and it's kind of when they announced that they were canning it, it was quick, download it, save it, all the different versions. The big downer for me is that it just died on the Mac. And then obviously you can't do that because it's within the Mac App Store, so there was no way of getting it.
There's probably a torrent of it out there somewhere.
More than likely, yeah, more than likely. But to be honest, I'm away from using CAD on the Mac anyway because it was dying because I've got a very, very old Mac. But yeah,
Macs are bad. Don't at me.
No. It's Windows that's bad. But yeah, no, I just find it really quick and easy. There is an issue where the models get to a certain size or complexity that it slows to a crawl, or saving an STL is painful. But it works really well. And what I didn't know, and this again, thanks to Twitter, what would you do without being able to just ask a question on Twitter and get an answer straight from the devs? I didn't realize that you could import a 123D design straight into Fusion. Really? And that has just saved my life on so many occasions, because you can literally load it in and make the little tweaks that either aren't available in 123D, or save it out as a format that you can't get, etc. So yeah, it definitely is a boon having that.
Yeah, for the VR, I think Devin at Make Anything channel, he has done some modeling in VR for 3D printing, having fun. I'm not sure what program he has been used, but if you check his,
I didn't see that. I'll have to look.
Yeah, he did a big mammoth and some models, just playing around, and it was pretty cool. But like organic models, but I don't think it's good for like mechanical parts where you need all the accuracy.
Yeah, it'd just be cool. Like it's just a new toy. I wanted to make some small games with some friends of mine. So we all said, all right, we're all going to buy these Oculus Go's and just make some cool, small Unity games. But speaking of 1, 2, 3, and then we jump back up one level. Speaking of Autodesk, where's Project Escher? Where is it? I thought that was supposed to go like open source, and we were all supposed to have a 9-head 3D printer. Because I know I would have seen some YouTube videos about it if it was out by now. Where is it, Autodesk? Come on.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that program.
Remember that? Everybody forgot. I didn't forget. Where is it? There's been no news.
Printer that they want to come out with?
They probably realized they couldn't make enough money from it. Autodesk is slightly evil.
Yeah, what did you say, Kat?
I've never heard about it. Was it a printer that they were about to come up with, or?
There's some really cool videos. So they basically imagine like a BCN 3D Sigma that was enormous and with like 8 heads in a line.
God. Okay.
And they had this cool software that was running to make all the heads move independently and not bump into each other, because there's no thing. It was all, they just knew where each other were. It's probably some really cool slicing trick. They probably have like a really forked version of slicer they're using. And this, they announced it. They printed like this giant airplane propeller thing that was like 2 meters long, and it was at like a couple of trade shows in the US. And then
okay.
Where is it, Autodesk? I'm calling you out. I want some news.
Yeah, this is something I've never heard of.
See, it was quiet. It was quiet. I was trying to write an article. I was trying to write an article about it for All 3DP, and I was like trying to see if we could bring up some more news on it. And I haven't found anything.
Yeah, I started like 20 some years ago with 3D Studio, and had access through it in my school, and I bought some books, and I could pretty much model everything in 3D Studio, and then later 3D Studio Max. And that was totally different type of modeling than Fusion 360, but I was rather quick to get my head around Fusion 360 with the sketches. Like I said earlier, the CAD for newbies and several other videos really help you get started. And once you get your head around the sketches and how they work, it's super nice program to do anything mechanical. But it's not like a organic modeling like this guy I did. This was in Sculptors. That's like a free version of what's it called? ZBrush. So Sculptors is like a mini version of ZBrush. where it just starts with a orb that you pull on and push on, and you can do all kind of creatures and characters with it, and that's totally different. And that's a program that I find really difficult to get my head around. Is the organic modeling, but the mechanical modeling in Fusion 360. I love to do projects with it, and we were talking earlier about printing things around the house. Sometimes, like the other day, my wife asked me if I would go to the store and I buy like a hook to put on the wall to in my son's room, so he could put his bags on the wall. And I said, no, I'm not going to go to the hardware store and buy the hook and drill it into the wall. I'm just going to 3D print it. And then I spent maybe half an hour doing the model and half an hour doing the print. And it took me maybe 1 hour to develop it and produce it instead of going to the hardware store. And I love projects like that.
I did one recently for my wife, for my wife's dressing room, and she wanted clothes hanging rails hung up in there, and I bought a couple of brackets, but because it's not going into a cupboard, not the brackets that we had would have been good for with tiny little screws for screwed into wood, so these needed to go into plasterboard, so they needed to be bigger screw holes, etc. So I just designed them, and as you say, just the same as you just said, Martin, that it was 20 minutes to design it, and it was just over an hour, I think, to print 2 of them. Went into the room, offered them up against the wall, and for the first time, I actually offered the hanging rail up in the position that it was supposed to go in, and found out that the actual walls ran in. So where I'd measured it, it was perfect. When I came back out, it wasn't right. So it's like, oh, that's a disaster. Well, no, it isn't. I'll just go and change the model slightly and print another one. So a couple of hours later, I had the right size and fixed it. And that, yeah, it really is. I do love that. It's,
yeah, yeah. It's awesome to like with my refrigerator shelf. When I got the printer and I was thinking of ways how to keep my wife happy about the printer because I have to have it here in the living room, and I needed to find a good practical use case around the house. So when I had the chance to do the model for the refrigerator shelf, she was happy about that, and so that bought me some credits.
Always good to keep in the good books with the better half.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out as well that when Miles was talking about Autodesk that I left, I don't want him to think that I'm part of the Autodesk conspiracy. It was just my dog barking. I just had to go and sort that out.
Yeah, coming back to sculptures, I also tried it a bit. Yeah, and I can work with that organic stuff a little bit better than with something like Fusion 360 or so, because my day profession is being a dental technician, and there we work with a program called 3Shape, and you can construct teeth with it, like inlays, onlays, crown, bridges, veneers, and stuff, and it's also kind of organic. So you just grab the handles and then push and pull stuff in and out. And so I think sculpture is something that I want to have a deeper look at. Yeah.
Fernando Jerez was recommending Sculptress to me just this week as something that I should try. So I want to make some, I guess, humanoid type kind of models, and it's just beyond me. I'm more. I can make things that are square and straight and stuff like that. It's that just blows my mind a bit. So it is something I want to try. And the fact that, as Martin said, it's the free version of ZBrush, as it means that it's well worth having a play with to see whether you like it before going and splashing out all that money on the bigger program.
Yeah, it's good fun to play around with, and I was doing like this dog here, and this animal and this thing, and I was just playing around and pushing and pulling, and it's you start with a like create the face, and then you pull out, and all of a sudden you have something that could be a dog, and then you work on it a little bit, and it turns out to be a cat, and then you work some more on it, and it ends to be a bird, and you could just drag the things around, and it's just good fun to play with. Like you get a outlet for your creativity playing around in the software. But I was really happy with how Sculptris is very simple program to play around with. I found ZBrush, I tried it out just to see how it was, and it was quite overwhelming to jump into. So I think it's maybe hard to get started with it. So ZBrush is definitely, Sculptris is definitely a good start. If you find liking organic modeling, then you could go and get ZBrush at a later stage.
Yeah. I think that I don't know whether you can make that one out. That's one of Fernando's models, which I just thrown away. Which was I think was made in Sculptris, and this is printed tiny so that it fits with my playset. But I was just blown away by the level of detail that you can get in there, and as you say, the fact that it's organic modeling rather than drawing straight lines is pretty cool.
When I look at the models, Martin, that you just held into the camera, that cat and dog, you're quite talented. What I've seen, very nice. I think I couldn't do that because I'm absolutely untalented. So I think I would never ever be able to create something like that as quick as you did.
Yeah, it's good fun, and I did a live stream one time doing a creature. It's good fun, and like for the cat and dog, and I was really just looking at my cat and having a picture of a dog and trying to emulate some features, and then overdoing some, and it's nowhere like anatomically correct. All the bone placements are not correct, but it's good fun and looks good. This is Filamentum Gold Happens filament. And they look really nice in that filament.
Still much better as I probably ever will be able to do.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think for me it looks perfect.
Yeah, I suspect me too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
all this secret artistic talent. Just
yeah. I think you should get deeper into that, Martin. I think you're a big talent. If you say that's just the beginning and you're criticizing yourself about the atomical misplacements, and I think it's already perfect. I think you would be a big guy getting into that deeper.
Yeah, it's like with those paintings. This is just something I started to do as I got into 3D printing. I've never been painting on paper, and I never had special interest in arts or anything like that in school. So it's just something that comes out as a result of me starting with 3D printing and modeling. So it's a
hidden talent. Hidden talent.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, another question I have for the community, because now we have a fusion on the one hand side, we have sculptures on the other side, but what I'm looking for, because I want to get into jewelry in the future, and I'm looking something that I can make rings, but also organic stuff. And for the rings, I need metric, and for the other stuff, I would rather like to use something organic. So I would need both worlds. And I don't know which program I should use, because those jewelry programs, they are so expensive, and I just want to go for something free at the moment. And then if I ever sell something, which let's see, then I maybe could afford to buy something. But these jewelry programs, have you ever looked at it? They're so extremely expensive.
Yeah, don't buy those specialty jewelry.
No.
I think I think people would really go for, like, because when it comes to like wedding rings and people who are getting married are sort of in my generation, like millennials, we don't really care about gold and diamonds as much. because we're poor.
I wouldn't. That's not my thing. I don't want to create any wedding rings or something with precious stones or something. No.
But I feel like you could do wedding. Like I feel like people would pay good money for like very specific, custom designed, single made wedding rings. If you really like, I feel people would like.
Yeah, rather.
If you're gonna like think about it, right? You it's a wedding ring, so it's a big deal. You're gonna be wearing it every day, hopefully for the rest of your life, right? And like me personally, I would rather shell out a couple grand on like a really special, really cool ring that, you know, is made of like gold or silver, but it doesn't have like all these then diamonds. Like diamonds are useless like rocks. Whereas like if I really feel like that could be something that people would pay a lot of money for. It's just about finding those people. It's a very hard group of people to find, and it's that's the biggest challenge I would feel. But I think like, wouldn't it be easier for you to just use both of those programs and then just stick the things together at the end rather than trying to find one thing that can do both?
Yeah, maybe.
You could use Mesh Mixer to join the different models and create a final product with Mesh Mixer.
People say if you say Mesh Mixer 3 times, Angus shows up.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, he's like the master.
He just breaks in like,
yeah.
Or no, he should dig up. He's from Australia. He just comes out of the floor like, I heard you guys need some tutorials.
Yeah. So I have another hobby. But it has rested for some time now because the ladies haven't been wearing necklaces lately. So I think I have to start using it again. I make glass beads out of Murano glass, and I'm tangled up here. And so here would be one of them. And so I would like to combine those two worlds. I would like to make pendants, 3D printed pendants, and then combine them with glass beads. That would be cool.
You know what you could do, especially if you have SLA. If you made the glass, do you blow the glass beads? Does that happen? Right?
No, I have a metal rod and I have glass rods, and I heat up the glass rods until they reach a melting point, and then I wind the molten glass upon the metal rod.
Oh, okay.
So you have to keep on turning, and then it creates the round form.
Because if you like, especially if you have SLA printers, you do, because you have the rings, right? You have an SLA machine.
I have a small one, yeah, for jewelry.
Because if you like did a proper photogrammetry shot and then you end up with a scan of the glass that you blew, you could like almost like encase it, like that would be cool. Because then you'd have the exact, you can literally print the two pieces and like glue them together, or I don't know how to glue SLA. I don't have any experience with SLA other than like using other people's Form 2s. I don't know how you would join it properly, but that would be cool, I think.
Yeah, you can just glue it, or you etch the surface and then you just cement it or glue it. Yeah.
Just spitballing some ideas there. That's what I would do.
I noticed Mike, Never Let the Machine Win, pointed out ZBrush Core could be a good start. That's like a ZBrush with a limited feature set at a lower price that people could use to get started. It's more advanced than Sculptress.
Who makes Sculptress?
ZBrush. The ZBrush program company.
It's independent. Hasn't been stolen by you know who yet.
I don't know who you mean, Miles.
Probably will sometime.
Yeah, the awesome awesome company of Autodesk.
Yeah, I always see Sparky Face 5 doing amazing stuff in ZBrush and Sculptress. She did the 3D block zoo. I thought that was a pretty cool project. Just because I see everything, like I don't like. I'm much more active on my Facebook, but like my proper 3D printing community, wider community outside of just the own community that I'm in is on Twitter, and I'm just like a massive lurker on there. So I see what you're all doing. I just don't go into the comments and the threads that much.
Yeah, here's a model by Tessa. It's a Omnom model. It's an awesome model.
That was such a good model.
I have that one too somewhere.
Yeah, and this one is by Garrett.
Oddish.
Yeah, Oddish.
Nintendo, why haven't you made official 3D printed Pokemon files, huh? You don't like money, Nintendo?
Yeah, Garrett is super talented, both in organic modeling, like Zebras, and also in Fusion 360. If you see his project, it's amazing how talented he is in both organic and mechanicals modeling.
You're talking about Pokemon?
Like Nintendo, rather than suing everyone into the ground, maybe just release some 3D printed Pokemon files. You don't think people would buy their favorite Pokemon for $5 to 3D print it? Nintendo, do it, because then I'm going to reopen my 3D hubs and get rich. I'm telling you right now, okay? Right? I love Nintendo and Pokemon so much. Pokemon convinced me that reading was a good idea when I was a kid. You know, it's like that level. It's like I didn't like reading when I was a kid, and I'm like, I need to read to play video games. Okay, fine. You know, it's the way that Nintendo just takes down tries to take down Flowalistics models all the time and just sues everybody who mentions that thing. Because, you know, one of the videos I thought of doing was like 3D printing a giant Pokemon, like just doing like 300 by 300 on a CR10, and it would, you know, I feel like that kind of video would like kind of push a channel at the beginning. You know, you kind of get into an audience that's not really expecting 3D printing, but taking it and applying it to something else. But then I thought about it, I'm like, Nintendo's just going to take my video.
Yeah, it's sad how some companies try to kill the fan base community. Some companies endorse it, and some companies see it as a threat. And I don't understand that attitude, because as long as people are doing it for fun and not for a business case, then you should be allowed to do it.
They always worry about protecting their IP. So you release the official files. Release the official files on a dang web store. Nintendo, I will build you a web store if you really need that. If you can't do it, I got you. Right? Just send me the 3D files. We'll put it on the web store. $5 each, which is ridiculous money for a 3D printing file. Right? Like people, you know, unless it's like a specific cosplay thing or a very specific person or someone I really like on Patreon, I wouldn't pay $5 for a file. There's too many other files that I'm never going to 3D print on the internet already. But those kind of things, you know, it's like, or do the Lego way. Like Lego totally isn't happy with people 3D printing Lego sets, but people aren't going to stop. And it's like, you might as well. You might as well embrace something rather than fight it. Look at all those people who fought Napster. How did that go?
Yeah, it's difficult to fight, because nobody can have issues if I do it on just printing it for myself, and I can understand if the companies are protecting their revenue stream by stopping people that are selling the prints. But having like fan base being like for cosplay or something that they are doing for fun, it's should be open
for games especially. Like we know you have the high resolution, high detailed models. We know you have them, and you lower the resolution and put it in the game for performance. But I know you have it. Stop making the games have microtransactions and just sell me the Doom shotgun. You don't think I would pay you money for the Doom shotgun so I can 3D print a shotgun? Are you crazy?
I think
it's free money.
I think the problem is they just don't understand the technology, and it's probably not mass market enough for them to think that it's good. But I think I remember Augustin Flowalistics saying that it's not usually the company that come after you. It's basically that they farm that out to third-party companies, and they're the ones that chase down the IP. So you go through a round of a company will chase down a lot of people, and then 12 months later, that company has then been contracted to somebody else, and they'll chase down different people. And it just seems to be that the really big companies are actually not the ones that are doing it. So your LucasArts or Lucasfilm and your Nintendo are actually just sitting back and letting some third-party company who's probably pitched the idea to them. We could get you some, we can get all this IP back for you, but they just don't understand the technology. And I think long term, hopefully, they will get a better understanding of what it is that they're missing out on.
Dear media companies who own really nice brands, my Twitter is in the description. I will tell you how this works for a nominal fee. Free money, stuff you already have, literally free money. Throw the thing that you have on the internet already and sell it to people. Done.
Yeah, I think there's a good base for a project like that. If they will be more open-minded.
I want to 3D print an entire suit of Doom Space Marine armor. I'm not good at CAD.
Isn't Fischer Technik, it's a German company, aren't they also releasing some stuff for 3D printing? They have this 3D printer, which is not, the quality is awful, but I think they embraced it a little bit at least. Huh?
Mm-hmm. I think with Mattel not doing something as well, the Hot Wheels, I'm sure there was some sort of idea that they would create a standard chassis, and you'd buy a lot of the standard chassis, but you'd then have the option of downloading the models to print different bodies to go on the cars and stuff like that.
See, that would be great. See, come on.
I see Joe Mike in the chat saying about the Sci-Fi Channel released the Expanse models for free. I think there was also, was it not a hookup? It might have been, was it My Mini Factory hooked up with My Little Pony at one time, and they were providing models for people to print as well.
But like working at Comic-Con for several years, My Little Pony people are strange. Like, you lot are weird. Like, I'm happy that you're 3D printing your stuff. That was good because there was a lot of people making a lot of money on Patreon. Like, I saw a couple Patreons get taken down for making My Little Pony models to 3D print. Like people really like you guys like that a little too much, you know. But things like the Sci-Fi Channel, right? That's cool, but like no one under 30 watches the Sci-Fi Channel because we don't have TV. Like legit, like I wrote an article about this on All3DP, and it just didn't go anywhere. I thought it would go a little bit further than the ones. I just added like 15 game companies. Like, please. Like game companies especially, it just makes so much sense.
I think it will happen more when 3D printing is more available to all households. It's still a bit...
No, we want them to come to our 3D hubs. I want to buy more printers.
I don't think companies will do that.
I agree. I think it's one of these things where they don't see that the market's big enough. That's a problem.
Yeah.
They'd have to be. I mean, when you look at the number that Creality are selling, I guess there is an awful lot of printers out there, but they're probably mostly all with the same people. They're buying multiple because they're nice and cheap. It's a chicken and egg thing. They need to kind of understand that there's a market there that they could tap into, and then that would obviously help 3D printing to actually become more mainstream. But until it does, for a lot of the companies, it's difficult.
The startup cost is like practically zero.
It should be because as you said,
pay one guy for 1 day. You already have the software. Just install WordPress and install WooCommerce, and it's done.
Yeah. The big thing that you say is they already own the IP. They already, in most of the cases, they've already got the source material that they could easily make those models from.
They already have them. They already have them on the master files. We could have set this up while this stream was going on.
Well, it has been going on a while, so you know. I think
It's like 2.5 hours. We can throw up a WooCommerce, a Magento, a Shopify store. If I had a USB stick full of the Doom files for the full, you know, like the My Mini Factory BFG, like it took, you know, they had to get like Kirby and all those guys to spend probably 100 hours of professional 3D modeling people going real ham to make that. And I know you have that Bethesda. I know you have a full high resolution Blender or 3ds Max or whatever you guys use over there. I know you have it.
It's true.
People are going to break into your office and steal your hard drives eventually.
Yeah, steal the models.
So what are your next projects?
I'm trying to see if I can finish. Well, I'm trying to see if I can decide on a cosplay for October MCM. I'm going to go to Comic-Con. I finally want to cosplay. I want to do like a fully 3D printed cosplay, but I'm also wary I only have like 2 CR10s and a Wanhao i3. And I've got what? 3 months? 2 months.
Easy then.
Yeah, my biggest project is now I have planned to go to Murph next year. The plan is to bring a lot of 3D printed models with me. So I'm printing out and painting models to bring over to the States. That's like a long-term project because I have until Murph to do them. But I'm trying to do 1 or 2 each month. But like my current project is fruits and vegetables, and the banana and the potato and the orange. So that's a short-term project.
The gift that keeps on giving. It raises a smile every time you bring them up.
Yeah, it's a really detailed banana. I like my maker coin with banana for scale.
Exactly, perfect.
Yeah, I can use it. It's a practical print. So that will be used that I can throw away my calipers and just have the banana.
My next project, I've probably got about 20 or 30 projects always on the go, either in my mind or just about to print, and I can't help myself. I actually, because I'm a geek, I've got a spreadsheet that's got a list of all of my ideas, and I prioritize them when I'm going to do them, and models that I'm going to design. And at the last count, there was over 100 on there in the queue, so they're all in the pipeline. The big thing that I'm doing is the next phase of my playset. So it's something that's kind of a labor of love. So I'm going back to that, and I'll be creating more rockets. Hopefully, they don't look like radishes, parsnips, or carrots, but I'll do my best to be to make them look more rocket-like.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, Paul, do you have a big project?
Yeah, not really big. Currently working on getting the Mosaic Palette Plus working. You can get prints like this. This has been designed by Apaya Design. It's the Nintendo 64 logo. And you can get really great prints from it. And this is Nintendo 64. And a proper Pikachu with full colors. This is a really simple print, taking 2 hours, but really great results actually. So that's something I'm working on currently, and hopefully having a video on it soon.
And did you do that? You said you did that with the palette, right? Yeah,
yes.
The palette for that.
Yeah.
I want one of those.
Yeah, it's
sponsored for the podcast.
It requires some setup. It's especially the calibrating is a bit hard, I think. But yeah, the results you get from it are really great.
Yeah, do you have to calibrate it for different types of filament, or what inhales calibration process?
Well, you need to calibrate it for a specific printer, and especially the amount of filament used compared to what is in the G code, and if you have a Bowden tube and things like that. So that's mainly you need to calibrate. and you also need to find out how much filament is required to change between colors. And otherwise you are getting color bleeds, and that's within this Pikachu, for example, it's really hard to see on video because it's so small, but you have the white within the eyes, but that's a tiny bit of red, and that means you simply need more filament to switch between filaments. And I think that's also one of the disadvantages. You get pretty large blocks of filament that you can just throw away.
Yeah, so if you are transitioning from a black to a white, it takes more filament to burst out, and so you calibrate for that different types of filaments.
Yeah.
Does the palette software, is it Chroma, is it called? Does that allow you to do the tricks that Joe Prusa is showing off now with the purging in the infill and purging, or doing a separate model that's just all purge?
Yeah, I think it allows that. I haven't tried it myself yet because I haven't perfectly calibrated it. So I wanted to have first a perfectly calibrated machine before trying things like that. But I think it allows purging with infill and things like that. Yeah.
Cool.
Haven't they announced something new recently? I don't remember. Was it on Twitter or?
I think they've announced that they're announcing, haven't they? So I think we're on the countdown.
Yeah, I think next week or something like that.
Yeah, so
let's see what's happened. I mean, that stuff is really, really cool. It was the kind of like the first new product in a while. I was like, ooh, I haven't seen that before. Okay, it's always nice to, good luck to those guys, and sponsor my podcast.
Hey Paul, what kind of beer are you drinking there?
It's a Duvel. It's a Belgian beer.
Oh, I remember the beer that we had in Sweden at the meetup. That was yummy.
I can't remember.
You must have had a lot then.
It wasn't that much, but it wasn't E3D and Dave. So.
You guys, you should come to Sweden next year. It was small, but it was really cool.
I was good at go.
Especially the evenings. The evenings were really cool.
Yeah,
I lost my passport right before. I was like a big noob.
Yeah, I would love to go. And do you guys go to the TCT show?
I will be there next month. I will be there.
I'll be there. I was there last year. Ben had a really good stand, obviously, last year, but we won't have this time.
People in 3D printing in like, okay, so like one thing, right, from TCT last year that was not cool. And I know I'm very loud and the admin of the group on like the internet, but like I don't actually know you people in real life, not like you guys, but like general people in the community. Like, do not run up to me in public when you see me for 3D printer show. I will freak out. It's not cool. They'll just shout my name from across the exhibition hall in like when I see 300 people and I have no idea who said it, and now I know there's someone looking for me. Don't do this to me. That's not what I need.
Yeah, it's strange. Like I went to Earth and went there to meet up with all the guys I've been on with the Hangouts and from my friends on the YouTube channels. But I had some fans there that I had no idea about, and they were coming to me and I have seen your channel and I'm a fan of yours, and it was really strange to get that reaction from people that you had no idea that were watching your channel.
Yeah, so you actually do things. All I did was make GIFs and ban people. And you actually have cool things that people would be a fan of. Like it's cool. But like, so I need to sort out my account. You reminded me, I need to sort out my hotel because I actually want to stay for all 3 days, because taking the train from London to Birmingham is not cool. I don't like it. I'm just gonna get a hotel this time.
Makes more sense, I think, doesn't it? I was more of the stalker last year, so I was kind of Joe 3D Maker Noob, obviously Ben went to see. I collared Alex from Proto Pasta just as he was on a stand looking at something. I went, oh, that's Alex from Proto Pasta, so I introduced myself. did the same, I think, on the Prusa stand as well. But yeah, the only people that actually knew me, or I hadn't met, but knew me, were Filamentum and Filaменtiv. So I kind of went and introduced myself to those guys, but everybody else out was just pure stalker.
I should make a meme T-shirt to wear. That'll be funny. I gotta think of what one. I'm gonna make one.
Definitely, great idea.
I gotta find like a really good old meme from the 3D print group. I've like got them all saved in a big folder.
Yeah, yeah, it could be good fun for me to go to like 3D printing meetup Sweden. I was thinking about what show to go to in the States. If I should go to like a New York Maker Faire or a Bay Area Maker Faire or Murph, and then Earth came about. I decided to go to Earth, and I'll go to Murph next year. But it's a TCT show? Isn't that like some commercial companies?
Yeah, it's commercial as hell. It's big. It's real big.
Yeah.
But it's good. Like it's actually like if anyone's international, especially like Europeans, it's actually like in the convention center right next to Birmingham Airport. So like you can literally just zip in, go for the day, and zip out from the continent.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know about flights from Iceland, but I know they have like flights from major cities in Germany, France, and stuff. So you could make like a very long day of it if you're on the continent.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah, so I went to Formnext in Frankfurt last year. It was same like the TCT in Birmingham, and it was really, really cool. You should really see that at least once. You know, it's really incredible what industry is coming up with. You know, and 3D printing or CNC or SLA, or yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, the thing that TCT was nuts was desktop metal. Like seeing the desktop metal prints is like, okay, that's nutty. And like Cinturet was there as well, like holding the things that you don't get your hands on. You know, it was cool to see like a lot of community people and things, but like seeing the 200,000, 500,000 pound 3D printing machines.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Interesting.
Mm.
I was like, I'm just gonna Tony Stark this. I need this. Take this giant thing with the three-phase English. How am I the one failing at English?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Ian dropped out. Don't know.
We go.
What happened? maybe some technical difficulties. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome for me to go to Earth this year, and I never met anybody in the community before, and I'm meeting all the guys. It was just awesome, and spent a good amount of time with Kat, and we were like sharing a rental together. And
yeah, that was cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was good.
I had the same in Sweden, and just met everyone and just drinking beer in the evening, and everyone's so friendly. It's just a great community, I think.
Yeah, we were hanging out with E3D. Those guys are so cool. And
yeah,
they really know how to party.
Dude, Sanjay, like those guys are awesome, man.
Yeah, so cool.
I'm a sneaky little bit when it comes to 3D printing, at least. Sneaky little bit of a nationalist. Like I love that E3D, the best hot ends in the world, are made right here in the UK. And those guys are just really awesome. Like they're just so much fun. You know, you talk to them and they still feel like the same dudes that they were when they first started the company. Like I haven't seen them like change a bunch. That's why I like them so much. You know, I got to hang out with them last at the 3D Printing Industry Awards, and they're still the same dudes that I could tell that they were 5 years ago, despite their massive success. So that's what I really like about them.
Yeah, I talked to Sanjay at Earth, and he was showing me the tool changer, and we were just chatting about hot ends and whatnot. And at one point said something like, "Yeah, it's amazing how how professional you guys are, and was implying that they were doing a really good job, and he just like, professional, we're just dudes fucking around.
Fucking around, making bank, selling hot ends left, right, and center.
Yeah, so they were just heavy. They said we have one lady in the office that keeps it in check, so we don't make total. so at least we have some sort of a business plan or something. But they're just nerds playing around.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
We just Joe Mike said we just got demonetized.
Yeah,
yeah. Coming at us.
I'll blame it on Sanjay. Yeah, my channel still doesn't have monetization, so I don't know
how many subscribers have we got on the channel. Let's check. All right, I gotta see who I'm gonna beat up. Yeah,
for the Friday channel.
Yeah, how many people?
43 still.
43.
Yep.
We have to get more people in.
I will find you.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I know where all of you exist on the internet. Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll get good amount for the first stream on the channel.
You better subscribe. Yeah. I'm not kidding, but I'm gonna start calling people out on Twitter.
Yeah, I always got a few subscribers for one of the times I've hosted streams. So when people join, then just have the subscribe button in front of them. It's really easy. So yeah, 43 is as much.
Yeah, it's okay. I think it will increase steadily.
You better click that link. You better subscribe. You better share. All right, this is what we're doing.
I'm not sure if I either of them subscribed.
Come on. Come on, people. Don't let me down. All right, do I have to go into full-blown millennial mode?
Yeah,
I will do it. I'll be like, guys, we need 500,000 likes on this video. 500,000. Boom, 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 boom. Lights and sounds. Do you feel it? Oh.
Click all the links. And
you better click the 17 links. The actual content of this video is only 2.5 minutes, but I need that sweet, sweet algorithm.
You should create a commercial about it.
I'm somehow rich and famous despite having no skills whatsoever. I'm getting old.
It is 45 now.
45. You see?
Wow.
It works. This is why they do it.
Yeah.
Better like and subscribe.
Yeah.
I need that YouTube money. And Ian's back. See? I bet you Ian likes and subscribe. He knows what's up.
Yeah, he told in the chat that his laptop died. So. Okay,
guys. Whoever puts the 100th like on this video will get this outdated graphic to come. All right. Or I see like channels where they just say like, for every person that likes this video, I'll come to your house and like give you a Lamborghini or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of like channels that I don't understand the value in the content. It's just
I mined 13 bitcoins with this graphics card.
30 bitcoins.
13.
Are you still hitting here on this stream?
This outdated graphics. Is that what I actually sound like? How do you people like my voice? What is wrong with you? I see like channels.
Who has the feedback?
I think Ian.
How do people listen to that? It's awful.
No, your voice is okay. It's really nice. I like listening to you.
You're all wrong. Well, whoever likes my voice, I need an editor for my podcast. Like, no joke. I can't. That is the #1 reason why there isn't more episodes. I have to edit my own voice, and it's appalling. It hurts.
I just want to point out that I left the stream for 2 minutes and Martin dropped the F-bomb. I can't believe that.
Yeah, it all went bananas. But your mic, it went bananas.
I was actually really trying not to swear this whole stream, so I'm glad it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not my channel. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. I blame it on Sanjay. It was in quotes.
It was a quotation. I'm sure Twitter will still ban you. Oh.
Yeah.
Topical. The purge has begun.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. I'm gonna start heading off because people are harassing me to play video games with them, and they're not gonna stop. They've been calling me for the past hour, just over and over on Discord.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a good stream, and I think we got a good audience and good amount of people joining in for the first stream. It was awesome for you.
Yeah.
So
you better be back next week. All right. I've got all your names. I know who all of you are. Next week, same time. We do the same
2
time.
weeks.
No,
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Next
It's
week.
back and forth with American guys.
So next week, you better listen to the stream again. I want to see double the views on this stream. All right. This is not a request. This is a demand. All right. You're gonna like the video, subscribe.
There's no way
You're doing it.
No way I'm watching it back. I'm like you.
Well, we have to. We're gonna have to brave it.
Myself.
We have to brave it.
I suppose I could always set it playing and just leave it on mute.
Yeah. You have a classical accent, like you have a classic British accent.
Obviously, yes, goes without saying. That's very, very good, especially considering that I live in Scotland now.
Yeah. I hang out with too many Scottish people. I play like games with way too many Scottish guys. I like starting to pick up Scottish slang and saying it down south, and people are looking at me funny.
You do get that. Definitely get that. I get that when I go back to Manchester, and all my family will kind of like give me funny looks, and I'm like, oh, I've done it again, haven't I? I'm just used to it because I've now got I've got 2 Scottish kids, so I'll listen to them all day as well.
Yeah, it's funny how different accents are in a small area.
it's like the accents change in London. Like I can tell what part of London someone is from by the way they speak.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's too many people here. 10 million people too many.
Yeah. Yeah, we only have 350,000 people in all of Iceland.
We have roughly about 39,000 in whole Liechtenstein.
What?
39,000. 160 square kilometers.
More people.
Barely a good rave, isn't it, Miles?
More people live in my voting district than your entire country. Wow. This is why everyone in Iceland, in Luxembourg is rich, right? This
Not
is all I hear
Luxembourg.
about
Not Luxembourg.
Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein.
I'm not rich.
That's what they all say. Rich people.
No, not really. No, really.
That's what rich people would say. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Shane from Prusa has a question. What model would you make that best represents your country? So,
I think for mine it's pretty clear the Dutch windmill.
Yeah, yours is definitely on spot.
Yeah, I would print Liechtenstein. So.
I guess the E3D Lion is a good one for us, Miles.
That's like a patriotic symbol of the whole Britain. I'm gonna take London as a separate country because it basically is.
It should be. We all wish it was.
I'm gonna say a pile of poop, like a poop emoji with a diamond on the top. That would be like how I would see London. Like most of it is garbage. There's some parts are really, really nice.
That's a good one.
And why does everything cost £1 million? Seriously. I'm genuinely considering living in a van. I'm like genuinely thinking about looking at financing on a van to live in the van.
Yeah, that's
Crazy place.
Yeah, it's a good place to visit, though.
Yeah, you say that.
Yeah, I had a good time. I spent there a week this summer with my family, just being a tourist.
Mancunians. I can't speak English, right? I speak London. I don't pronounce my T's.
I must have it's a properly diluted accent because originally from Manchester, worked in Blackburn and Preston, and then spent an awful lot of time and now live and have family in Scotland. So my accent's kind of been diluted through the years. I also worked with a lot of people from Oldham, so it just manages to chip away at your accent. When I talk to my sister sounds like a proper Manc.
Mm-hmm.
But I've obviously lost that.
I got that you were from the north, but I didn't pick up Manchester.
No, because I didn't call you our kid. If I called you our kid, you would have known.
That's very true. All right, boys and girls, it's been lovely. I'm a peace out. My hand is like that broadcast on the camera is like whoop, changes. I don't know how to people, so I'm just gonna press the goodbye button. All right, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Like and subscribe, do all that good stuff. I want to see it. All right, I will be calling people and naming and shaming them on Twitter. I have no qualms about doing that. Peace.
Catch you later. Cheers, Wells.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Ciao.
I'm going to, unlike Miles, I'm not young and with it, so I'm not going to play games. But I really would like to go to my bed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
me too.
it's been a good stream and a good time to end it as well. So if you want to say goodbyes, and I'll stop the broadcast, and then we can chat on a little bit before we sign off. So for everyone joining in, thank you for watching. It was a great time having you all watching and taking part in the discussions in the chat. And I thank for everybody who was joining in. I think the initial European Hangout stream was quite successful. We had no. I was a little bit afraid in the beginning that I would be alone. Just hi. We got a good amount of people tuning in, so that was awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, I have to say, and I think there's a good pool of people, and there's an awful lot of people that have expressed an interest in coming on that didn't get on this time. So I think it can be kept quite fresh as we go forward as well. So that's it's really good to be able to be the European element of the Friday Hangout, and it's been really good chatting to you guys. And as always, I've learned stuff, and as my good pal Tom would say, it's all about sharing, learning, and growing. So I think we're doing that together, and I think it really has been good.
Yeah.
So thank you for all the American guys for joining in too. So this time it was a different way around than it would normally be. So we Europeans normally would have to get up very early, very early. But now it was maybe other way around, and so I've watching the chat a bit next to the main window. And thank you for having me, and I'm looking really forward to joining in again next time. Like always.
Yeah, fully agree. Thank you all for being here. It was a great pleasure to be here, and hopefully be here next time. Yeah,
so thank you all for watching, and I'll end the stream. So have a nice evening or day or wherever you are. So see you guys.